It's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? Fired up on a Monday. All-Star break this week. So, not a lot of Padres games to break down. We will have plenty of time in the next couple of days to break down the weekend series between the Padres and the Phillies. I thought this weekend was a great weekend. You should have seen Frank and I walking into work today. Man, did this Monday just punch you in the face to get things going. I didn't go to football practice this morning. I had a workout planned. I went and worked out. My body, yesterday morning, I mean, I had to rally to play a softball game yesterday. I don't know how I was able to do that. I mean, we barely played. I mean, most of our team played OTL the next day, and then we got to play the try-hard team in the Sunday league that takes it way too seriously. It's like, guys, calm down. It's Sunday softball, all right? So I had to rally. There was like 10 of us on this team, and three or four of us played OTL the day before and just are completely wounded. I was not wounded in the sense of drinking too much. I was wounded in the sense of I don't know how I was able to make it through 12 straight hours of OTL on Saturday. So I make it through the softball game yesterday, and I just like lay on my couch all of yesterday. OTL on Saturday. I want to say a big thank you and shout out to Back for taking care of us out there at Over the Line and putting on a great event. I had a great time. We're going to dive into the overall weekend. I'll tell you how everybody did. I mean, we had 4 teams out there. I had a team with my my friends Sam and Mike. Sam's in the chat, Sushi Sam. And my buddy Mike, who pitched at UC Irvine. I finally got him out there to play. He had a blast. So that was one of our teams. My brother had a team with 2 of his friends, and then we had 2 other teams of our friends because so many of ours wanted to play. So we had 4 teams out there that had some type of relatively PG-13 name presented by the Braden Surprenant Show. So we had 4 teams out there. All of our teams won at least one game, which is what I was thankful for, because some of our teams were brand new and never played, before. So it was cool that they got to get a win. And it was a fun event. I mean, it's always fun going down to Over the Line. So my day on Saturday started at 5 a.m, where I got up and I went and I drove, and we all met at my brother's place, which is actually not too far from where we work here at the Odyssey Palace. Caravan in 2 cars, had a couple of designated drivers, some guys that don't drink. So they were like, we'll drive. Got down to the island about 6 o'clock. Got a couple of hacks in on our court. I want to thank the Fairbanks family for allowing us to hang out at their tents that they have there all the time. A big appreciation to them for letting us hang out and have a base camp. And again, thanks to Tom Doyle for really making our experience really fun. Thanks to Frank for coming out. Frank came out and enjoyed it. We'll get Frank's reaction to his first Over the Line as well. But it was fun. I mean, our first game, and I only can speak from experience of just my team and the games that we played, because they were so back to back. It was hard to go watch. My brother's team, I'd watched him a little bit. I tried to watch each of our teams play a little bit. But in our first game, we lost 18-17. Got walked off in the last inning. I was like at the beginning of the game, and I had to say it. I don't know what this team was doing, and they probably know who they are, playing us in the first game. But we start on court 31, and one of the on-back old guys is like, we're playing 4 innings today. We're playing 4 innings today. And so we started with the game, and before the game started, we had a little manager meeting, and we're like, we're playing 4 innings? Yeah, we're playing 4 innings. So we agreed upon playing 4 innings. We were the away team. We were down going to the bottom of the third. And then all of a sudden, the other team was like, oh, no, we're only playing 3. I was like, come on, man, let's not be an OTL bro. That's OTL bro. You don't want to be an OTL bro, okay? It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, I know a lot of people really want to, win this thing. There's a lot of good teams out there. And we got to see a lot of our fans and our listeners that enjoy OTL. But like, just don't be an OTL bro. There's a difference. And so OTL bros are sitting there trying to like finagle a win out of nowhere. And they're like, hey, no, we're playing 4. I don't care if they changed it last second. We agreed upon playing 4 innings. So we go, I forget how many runs they score. We're down. I forget how many we're down. But we end up putting up 11 in the top half of the 4th. And then in the bottom half, they end up walking out. We had 2 outs, couldn't get the last out. They end up walking it off. They win 18-17, which put us into we're going to be playing a game on the hour, every hour for the next like 12 hours, it seemed like. Won our next 3 games, which was fun. And then we got to a point in the contest and a point in the afternoon. It was late. And the later the games got, I told Frank before the day started, he took my advice. Unfortunately for us, we couldn't leave the island before like 3:00 because we kept playing. But you felt the slow build. And our last couple of games, there were some fan groups, and they were chirping the whole time. And so we had a little bit of a crowd for our last couple of games. We didn't hit very well in our second to last game. We get to the last inning. We're tied at 2. We don't put any runs up in the top of the 4th. Go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and they go hit. So one more hit wins them the game. Guy hits a missile front row. I'm able to snag it. And then later on, Sushi Sam ran down a ball on the next at bat to go 2 outs. They pie out, and then we put up. I think we put up like 7 runs in the top half of extra innings. And then they went 1, 2, 3. We won that game. And then by that time, we had to play 2 more to make it to the second weekend. We played a pretty good team that had just lost in the winners bracket and was ready to go. And they were waiting for us to finish. And we were tired, kind of hung for like an inning. And then they got into a rhythm. And then our day was done at 7:30. The only thing I would say about like my only critique about Over the Line, I thought everything was great. We got to try to find a way to get some traffic people, to get people off the island in as quick of a manner as possible. We were done at 7:30. We got everything loaded up into the truck at 8. We did not physically leave the island until like 10. It was 2 hours on the island, just the island part. Once we cleared the island, everything was fine. But 2 hours waiting in traffic getting off the island. That was a little bit of a deterrent. A lot of my friends were like, hey, I had a great day, but this is kind of preventing me from wanting to do this again. I think as time goes on, they'll forget about it and we'll move on to it. But I overall had a great time. I thought it was fun. So my team went 4-2. That's a nice little day that we had. And it was the first time that we ever played, as a group, me and my 2 buddies. So hopefully we could keep it going and play every single year. We'd love to be a part of it. I know there's other OTL events going on throughout the rest of the summer. If you really want to go out there and play, learn the sport, go out there and play. It's such a fun time. And again, like we were telling you, like even if we made it to we want to say we make it to the second weekend, but I don't know how many of us are like that into going out and playing in the second weekend. So we had a great time. So we went 4-2. My brother's team, I think, went 3-2. Our other 2 teams went 1-2, but everybody had a fun time. Got to hang out with Frank a little bit at the island. A little bit more mild than it usually. It's not as crazy as it used to be. It's definitely mild in comparison. I'd still abide by the rules of no babies, which is like nobody under the age of 18 should probably go on the island. But other than that, it was pretty fun. It was a good time. We only had 1 casualty. It was in the last game, my brother's last game. His front guy, Marcello, unfortunately, he had an injury to his ring finger, so he had to get checked out. I think he is able to pop it back into place, which is fine. But I had a blast. I thought it was fun. We took a lot of pictures, and we're gonna have we were mic'd up for a couple of the games. So my friend Matt, a big shout out to him who went out and took pictures and videos. We will have that for you as he works on it. Kind of a little recap of Over the Line, but team names were funny. And I want to thank all of you listeners out there that came up, introduced yourself, said hi to us. I tried to get out as many of those OTL shirts as possible. I got a lot of extra blue shirts. If people want them, let me know. I'll try to get you some shirts, but it was cool. It was cool seeing all our shirts walking around and playing in different games. And this is the first time I actually felt old at OTL because a team that I coached, some players on a team that I coached when they were sophomores, I saw on the island. I gave them T-shirts, and then later on we had to play them in a game. I felt so old playing some of those guys, but overall it was a great time. Frank, how was your experience at On Back Over the Line?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Not enjoying the sunburn that I had because the last half hour I was there, it started to get
You
sunny
got
out
their
there.
peak sun time.
I did, unfortunately. But it was a lot of fun. Very easy game to learn. Very easy game to understand. And honestly, when I did understand it, I was ready to go. I was ready to get in there if anyone needed a little bit of help. I was ready to get in there.
Well, we got to get you out there swinging a little bit.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
You know what? Tom Doyle at On Back said he wants to bring the media division back out.
Okay.
I think they need to do a media tournament. They should do a media tournament for charity.
Would love to do that. Would love to be a part of that.
If I had a healthy hamstring, I wouldn't have played front, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I was having a good time playing in the front. I almost had one in the last game. I went out one hand, stuck it, and then just couldn't hang on. I was so that's the only one I want back. I had a couple of good, nice little catches in the front. I honestly think a decent amount of people that knew about the show, I honestly think they underestimated that some of us have been playing this sport for a long time.
Yep.
I mean, this is not like we just went out there and tried it for the first time. I've played over the line since I was 12 years old. My dad played forever. My brother put up this idea. He really wants to have a team with me, my dad, and my brother and him. I think that'd be fun. I'd love to do that, but I like playing with my friends too. So we got to find a tournament to be able to do it. My dad's a good over the line player. Him and his friends would play all the time. I got to play with my dad when I was 18. I got to play with him one time in the men's open, but we got to get you out. They have over the line events throughout the entire year, especially throughout the summer. So after next weekend, they're going to have a couple more. They play them all over the place. They have a couple of different versions of it as well. So if you're interested in playing, or if you went out there and you wanted to be like Frank, watch a little bit, get the bug, get the itch. There are ways to do that. We got to get you out there swinging a little bit, Frank. I mean, it's a little bit different of a swing than your baseball swing. It's kind of more of a golf swing.
It's been a while since I've swung, and I've seen that you can get the good baseball swing in there if you're trying to go over the top, but it is more of a golf kind of hack and hope you hit it in one of the corners.
Yeah, I mean you're basically swinging. Yeah, it's more of a golf swing because the baseball swingers, yes, they're gonna hit the ball way harder at you, and you're gonna get guys to drop it. But the over the line guys know they're gonna get themselves out more times than not. They're gonna foul too off, or they're gonna pie out because of the way the bat works. It's a simple instruction on why you swing golf with that swing because round bat, round ball. If you swing flat, the ball's either going to go up or down, which you don't want. If you swing,
it's going to go out.
Like golf, it's either going to go left or right, which is what you want. So, we had a great time. We got to get you out there next year. I think every one of our teams wants to play again, which is the best part.
And call me a wuss if you want. I would like to, the first time I play, I would like to use the glove the first time I play. But after that, after I kind of get my feet wet and get into it and kind of know what I'm doing, then I'll gladly go barehanded.
You're playing the commit league first.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. You got to find two friends to play with you. I'm not playing commit.
That's
I've graduated from the commit. That was for the junior OTL players, but you know what? You haven't played before. So when I first played out there in junior OTL, we had a glove.
Yeah.
So you could play in the commit league. But yeah, we should have I'd love for them to do the media thing again. Does everybody on the team have to be in the media, or do you just get one media person? Can I go out there with my OTL team again?
Tom, text us.
I think that'd be fun. But we had a blast. Good luck to all the teams that qualified for next weekend. I will not be out there next weekend. And it's funny, the other thing too with catching the ball, Frank, is you have to understand balls that you can catch and balls that you can't catch. There's a lot of balls that you think you can catch because you're used to wearing a glove that it's going to tweak your finger. You got to keep everything within basically your elbow being bent in a kind of radius around you, and you got to get behind it. I mean, if you saw, like, most of the guys that were catching the deep balls were almost bodying up the whole thing like a kick returner. The guys in the front have little stubby fingers that they could just stick it, or they're big, that they could just body it up. And then the guys in the middle are the agile guys that have to run down the little bloopers. But you're trying to catch the pop-ups, and then you're letting the other team get out themselves. That's kind of the strategy a little bit on the over the line. They got tons of different divisions too. You don't have to play in the open. They got a bunch of other ones. Team names were hilarious that we can't even mention on air. A lot of the videos.
No kidding.
One of the videos I posted on my story, you notice it's silent because they're announcing 2 team names, and you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, there were a couple of interesting ones.
And there's one video that's like, if you ever need to show somebody what is OTL, you play him that video of my buddy Mike swinging and then hearing the announcement of one of the team names in the background. And you're like, that's what it is. There was one time, so that game I was telling you about where they were a hit away from winning. And they had their I'm going to call them fans. And we had a decent amount of people that came out to watch us play, which was cool. It was fun. But there was one part where they as we're hitting, and they were just chirping in Mike's ear, and he looks down, he's like, stadium pulls high right now. We're on the road. This is Beaver Stadium, wide out. And then I give him a pit. He hits a absolute missile at a guy, drops it, and he was just like, fired up. I'm gonna tell you right now, if they didn't bring that chirping, we probably would have lost that game. Gave us that extra juice to put 7 up in the in extra innings. But
like I said, sometimes all you need is a reason.
So I had a blast. Frank, thanks for coming out. I think it looked like you had some fun.
I did. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Got a little wristband.
Yes,
nice.
I'm ready to go out next year. Absolutely.
We got to get you on a commit team then.
Yes, 100%.
So let's work on getting Frank a team, and
preferably one in the winter. I don't do well in the heat.
There's tons of tournaments and stuff like that. So we appreciate you guys at On Back. We want to keep this thing going. I mean, I think a lot of people were like, hey, thanks for bringing it up on the radio. It's a slowly dying sport that's part of the charter here in San Diego, and we want to get as many. And I thought, honestly, Frank, when you looked around, I thought there was a lot of young teams out there, which was cool to see.
Yeah, there were. And by the way, Tom just texted us the schedule.
Heck yeah. We're in, Tom. We're in. All right. Enough about OTL. Big weekend for the Padres over the weekend. They took 2 out of 3. They almost swept the Phillies. I thought they were close to sweeping the Phillies. We'll break down this weekend series against Philadelphia, what it means to the Padres. And I know we already talked about the first half evaluation, but here's the ceremonial first half. How are you feeling, Padres fans? How are you feeling right now with your ball club? You got guys that you were on at the beginning of the season saying they can't hit, starting to hit a little bit. You're seeing guys get out of slumps. Overall, I thought this weekend the Padres played exceptionally well. What do you think? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you want to weigh in on what the Padres did over the weekend, give us a call. If you're at over the line over the weekend, give us a call. We appreciate it. When we come back, we'll talk more Padres, Phillies over the weekend, and dive into some more things later on as we continue. Braden Surprenant Show, off and rolling on a Monday. San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. right, Frank, we gotta help with the media tournament. Get the TV folks involved. I'm in.
Start annoying everybody in the Padre press box until they say yes.
Over the line tournament. Mariners Point. Let's go.
Do you imagine that team? Like Casavell, AC, and Lynn on one team?
I don't see any of those guys playing.
I don't see that either, but it's fun to imagine.
Tom said you can use gloves in this deal. Gloves are welcome.
Might make it easier.
Out of principle, I might not wear a glove.
No, and that's fair. And like I said, I want to stay as true to it as possible. But first time, I'd like to not break a hand learning how to play the game. You know?
Yeah, you should learn how to play with a glove first. Yeah, break a finger.
You never know.
It's easier to catch in the sand. Got it. But like Cello broke his finger because they were feeling good, didn't commit to the catch. Happens. You gotta commit to the catch. And if you're playing the front, you should probably limit how many brews you have. I stayed as a front player for my safety. I was making sure I was mixing in water throughout the entire day.
Good. As you should have been.
Let's talk about the Padres. How do we feel, Padres fans, right now? How do we feel? Going into the All-Star break, Padres are a half game in front of the Giants for the final wild card spot. How are we feeling? Padres are 52-44. They have played one game over 500 ball since their 7-0 start. How are we feeling? After this weekend, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm feeling a lot better than I was going into this weekend against Philadelphia. Padres again continue to do things well at home. They're 31-18 now at Petco Park. I think a lot of that is the fans that you have and the fans that they have going out there and supporting every single day, which is drastically different from last year where they could not win at home. And they were not a good spot. I think they were like a game over 500 last year. In game 99 and then in game 100 in Cleveland after the All-Star break, they got their ass handed to them, and they were 500 through their first 100 games. Things looked a little bleak. Padres don't need to go on a run in the second half that they did last year. But honestly, as you take a deep breath and you have a couple of days to just evaluate what you've seen from the first half of the season, I think you honestly have to be pretty pleased. You're currently in a playoff spot. You're starting to see some guys that were in slumps turn things around, especially Jackson Merrill this weekend. That was great. It was good to see him get some success for what he's been doing at the plate. You got Xander Bogaerts playing a hell of a lot better than he was at the beginning of the season. So much so I haven't heard anybody chirp about it in the last couple of weeks because he's been back to being almost Xander Bogaerts. Manny Machado's having a great season. And to be honest with you, I mean, you're only 5.5 games out of the division. You've pulled within 5.5 after the Dodgers went on a 7-game losing streak. Do you remember, Frank? Do you remember when the Padres went on a 7-game losing streak? What everybody said in the comments? Do you remember what they said?
You mean when the 7-game losing streak when like half the roster was hurt?
Yeah, but you remember what people said about teams that lose 7 games in a row? You know what they said?
Sellers to the deadline?
No, they said teams that lose 7 games in a row never make the playoffs.
Oh,
they never win World Series.
Well, you know.
Well, that means the Dodgers aren't making the playoffs then, right, Frank?
No.
Is that how that works?
That's, I wish.
I wish. We all understood it when it happened. Teams are going to go on winning streaks. They're going to go on losing streaks. The Dodgers are the best team money can buy. They won a 7-game losing streak this week. They're 3-7 in the last 10. It happens. It happens. The fact that you're only 5.5 games out of first place going into the second half, I think is huge if you're the Padres. Because now you're putting pressure on. You know, the big reason why the Dodgers so many times have gone out there and run away with the division is nobody's even challenged them. And the one time that they were challenged, San Francisco won it. Padres challenged late last year, but it was a little bit too late. So you're challenging. I would say they're challenging for the division still. If you could stay within 5 or 6 games going to the second half, you're competing for a division spot. That's not an insurmountable lead. About a week and a half ago, I think it was almost close to an insurmountable lead. I think people were like, here we go again. Padres going to be 10 games out of first place. Let's focus on the wild card. They're within striking distance. 5.5 out, and you're in a wild card spot. Now, second half of the season starts a little bit favorable for the Padres. Washington, Miami, St. Louis, who you're competing for a division spot or for a wild card spot with, a team that at the beginning of the season was saying they were going to retool. They didn't even want Nolan Arenado on their team. They were trying to get rid of him. And they said for the last couple of years, we're in a rebuilding stage. I mean, do we think that team is going to be still hanging around? I doubt it. Eventually, I think they're going to fall off. So that's your first 3 games. Then you get to August, it gets difficult. And then September, right before the October push, you're going to be in a really good spot when it comes to scheduling. I'm saying, I think you got to be feeling good if you're a Padres fan. And I think the way they finished the first half, the ceremonial first half with this weekend in against Philadelphia, gives you that confidence. Now, it would have been great to sweep Philadelphia because then you would have won the season series against Philly. But you at least split the season series with Philadelphia. That's great. That's great news. You don't lose a tiebreaker to them right now, at least in head-to-head. At least it forces something else to happen. How are you feeling as a Padres fan? 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I'm feeling pretty good. I think you have to feel pretty good and satisfied with what the Padres have done, being 8 games over 500 going to the All-Star break. Is it perfect? No. Is there room for improvement? Absolutely. And as reported by Dennis Lin yesterday, the Padres are going to be active at the trade deadline. We know they're going to be active. They're trying to fix some holes on the team. I think it's going to be a lot more difficult to try to fix the catching position than anything else, but they're going to be able to go out there and get some bats. I thought the draft pick they had last night was exceptional. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But overall, Padres fans, how are we feeling? Before we talk about whether or not it was a success, how are we feeling about the first half? And then we'll talk a little bit more about what the Padres did over the weekend. I thought they played great. Their ability to battle back and bounce back, I think, was awesome. I think their ability to, be toe-to-toe with one of the teams you're going to be competing with in the postseason. I mean, they had some great performances. We said it going into Friday night. I mean, the weekend series that the Padres had against the starting pitching the Phillies had, against, by the way, not having the bullpen fresh and ready to go. We said that on Friday. I was shocked that they pitched Jason Adam. What a great gritty performance to get out of the jam that Jason Adam got himself out of on Friday night. They were doing it with Wandy Peralta. They were doing it with Yuki Matsui. They were doing it with David Morgan. I mean, they were doing it with the guys you wouldn't expect them to do it with. They did it with their bullpen that was taxed, that weren't 3 of the 4 horsemen back there. Offensively, they continued to produce. You even had Martin Maldonado getting an RBI. So you had to like what you're seeing out of the Padres. I'm more excited for the second half of the season after the final games and the entire games of this weekend series against Philadelphia. What do you have to say? Stay on hold. Everybody that's called in, give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Padres fans, what's the vibe? What's our vibes right now when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show? San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 10:38 on a Monday. I'm so sore. My lats are killing me from swing. I'm a left-handed swinger, as you know, as you saw. I if you had to guess how many swings I had this weekend, could you kind of get? We played so many games. We played 6 games. You only bat 3 guys, 4 innings each. I mean, there's a lot of innings where we put up a lot of runs. I had batting practice on Friday, batting practice the other day on Wednesday or whatever, Monday, where I went through multiple rounds. We hit before the tournament started. I feel like I probably swung the bat almost 1,000 times.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
You know how many steps I got? Well, I think I told you off air.
You did, so I'm not going to guess.
I had 26,000 steps at Fiesta Island. The bottom of my feet hurt so bad. I was getting flack for the socks, by the way. And I was immediate going, anybody that's criticizing the socks at OTL has never put their feet on that beach.
Yep.
Did you quickly understand why?
Oh, yeah.
I was wearing socks?
Oh, no. And like I said, I wasn't criticizing you for wearing socks. It was just like...
You were. There was a lot of other people that were.
It was just like, it sounded odd to me, like socks on the beach. That sounded odd. But the second you explained it, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
I think I showed you my foot covered in stickers at least a couple of times.
Your brother tried to give me his socks.
Oh.
But I wasn't...
No,
I wasn't quite at Make-A-Wish level in the day just yet.
We got to get you out there, Nick. We got to get you playing next time. So my body's exhausted still, and I got 3 softball games tonight. So
good luck.
We'll see how we are tomorrow. Have football practice. Let's get to the phones. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. How are we feeling as Padres fans for the first half of the season? Or if you're at Over the Line, tell us how you had it. Tell us how you did. Give us a call. Garrett Encinitas leading things off with the Braden Surprenant Show. Garrett, what's going on, man?
What's up, Braden? How are you? Good seeing you this weekend.
Yeah, good seeing you too. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, I just wanted to call and confess and apologize that it was actually me that hit that ball that broke the finger of your brother's teammate.
Hit it too hard, dude. Come on, man.
Yeah, he was asking for it, man. The whole game he's playing up front, super close, jumping around, and my teammates were like, hey, like back up a little bit, like we're gonna hit it hard at you, and he just kept at it, and yeah, what happened.
That's unfortunate. I had to text them, so hopefully they heard the phone call of the culprit behind the broken finger. He has sent a picture of said finger. It's in a splint. He's doing a lot better. It's not his throwing hand, so he's okay. So, but yeah, that was it was the last game of the day. Poor guy lost a finger, but you know what? We told him, you know, you got to be all in to try to make the catch. You can't pull out at the last second.
Yeah, we've been playing this for 13 years, and I've never seen something that bad. Like the bone was sticking out, it was bloody. That was pretty wild.
Frank's about to pass out, Garrett. So let's try not to be more specific on that. Thanks again for the phone call. We really appreciate it. Let's get out to Jason in Encinitas. Jason, what's going on, man? You're on the Braden Surprenant Show.
Hey, Braden. Wanted to, give you some feedback on the first half of the Padres season.
What do we got?
Rather than stating the obvious, MVP and newcomer of, which would obviously be Sheets and negative. I wanted to take a little deeper dive before I give you my assessment, short assessment of the first half. I would point to Jose Iglesias as being a nice little piece. I mean, super versatile on the infield, and not too much bat, but it's really nice to have versatility like that. So I'd point to him on the upside. On the downside, what is Luis Campusano doing on a major league roster? I mean, seriously, this guy rakes in the minor leagues, and then he comes up to the big club, and there's something wrong between the left ear and the right. And the guy, I mean, I don't understand, too, why the leadership of the Padres, I mean, bring some guy up from single A that's fast, so if Elias leads off the ninth with a hit and you're down a run, you can put some fast guy at first base. I don't understand why this guy's on a roster. So, but let me give you my assessment. I mean, if someone would have told me, at this stage in the season, that your top 3 guys in your rotation, Steve King and Darvish, would have a combined 7 wins between them, and that Jackson Merrill would only have 7 home runs after the year he had last year, and for us to be up 8 games, I would say you're crazy. So I'm actually really optimistic about the second half. I mean, if King can come back, Darvish is back. If he can stay healthy, and if Cease can round into form a little bit, and Merrill looked a lot better in the on the game on Saturday, I think it was, when he hit 2 home runs. I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic about the second half.
I think so too, Jason. I appreciate the phone call. Luis Camposano is an interesting case study. I mean, he hit in 2023 and 2024. I mean, it's not like he's incapable of hitting the ball. It just looks like that because he doesn't have a hit. I think a lot of this year is consistent at-bats. It's hard to get into a rhythm when you're not getting consistent at-bats. And so for me, the thing with Camposano is, like, if you're going to give him a chance, he's got to start starting games every single day. But the problem is he's only doing it as a DH. And he's not doing it as a catcher because they like the way that Martin Maldonado calls a game and Elias Diaz calls a game, and they don't want to mess with that. The starting pitching's done a really good job. So same with the bullpen. So from that perspective, they don't want to give him at-bats behind the dish. So you have to give him at-bats DHing, which means you got to move other guys around. And it's not going to be consistent enough for him to get into a rhythm and get a feel at the plate. I think more than not right now with Camposano is lack of consistent at-bats. That goes a long way. There's guys in the prigs that can be that guy off the bench, but they're usually veterans that know how to handle and be ready and be prepared for a major league at-bat. Camposano's still a younger player. In professional baseball, and until he gets consistent at-bats, I think you're going to see a lot of this. Lackluster performance in the box. Why he has an opportunity over, as Jason said, like anybody in the team that's speedy or somebody that can help in a different way, they're trying to find some offense in the catching position, or at least as a DH, to try to move things around to try to lengthen the lineup. And Camposano, despite the fact that he doesn't have a hit this year, his best asset is his ability to hit. I mean, that's his best asset. He hasn't been that great of a catcher behind the plate. Overall defensively, he's not super awesome. He's not a great runner. I mean, his biggest thing is his hitting, and that's why he's on the team. And the Padres right now could use another bat to lengthen the lineup. They're trying to find a solution at catcher on the team and not necessarily have to go find somebody else. We saw the report from Dennis Lin last night about the Padres looking around for the catching position, and they might be more active before the deadline. I mean, they might be making moves before the Padres. They might be making moves before the Padres even come back to Petco Park. Because remember, they got this. They're not going to be at Petco Park till August. I mean, they're off until August, but they're looking at other opportunities at the catching position, not named Sean Murphy. I mean, they're looking at Chicago right now for potential catching fit, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But overall, Padres fans, the question is, how are we feeling after the first half of the season? How are we feeling? We're at the ceremonial first half of the season. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm encouraged with how they played against Philadelphia. I'm encouraged by what I've seen out of some of the players, especially the guys that have been in slumps. And I'm encouraged with the starting pitching. I think the guys that have filled in for the top, as Jason mentioned on the phone call, I am encouraged by getting a lot of these starting pitchers back. I'm encouraged with Yu Darvish. I thought Yu Darvish on Saturday was kind of a circus, but it was kind of the rust getting knocked off. I mean, he was a little wild in that sense. I mean, that first couple innings wasn't that great, but he's going to get back into form, and I like the fact that you're starting to see Michael King get geared back up for hopefully an August return. I think that's going to do some great things. Now, all of a sudden, Dylan Cease is like your number 4 and number 5 pitcher in the rotation. As bad as he has been, I mean, you could stomach him being a 4 or 5 because other guys have been better near the top. So overall, I think we've had a pretty successful first half of the season. We asked the question in the YouTube poll where you can answer right now. Are you happy with the first half of the Padres season? 66% of you have said yes. Only 9% of you have said no. And 26% have said, nah, kind of. But was the first half of the season successful? Let's talk about this for a second. Padres sit 8 games over 500 in second place in the NL West, only 5.5 games behind the Los Angeles Dodgers. They sit in a tense third wild card spot, only a half game over San Francisco. Padres are 31-18 at Petco Park, which has been a problem in recent years, but not this year. And they're a game over 500 from a 7-0 start. Padres go from a season-high plus 54 run differential on May 10th to just plus 7 today. That's including the 21-run game that they had against Colorado. And the Padres have sent 5 players to the All-Star game, in which they're the first team ever to send 3 bullpen arms to the All-Star game. Was the first half of the season successful for the San Diego Padres? I would consider it successful. You're in a playoff position. You're within 5.5 games of first place. These are all the things, when we're talking during the offseason, that every single one of you would be like, I'll take it. I'll take it. I think Jason brought up a good point. If we told you at the beginning of the season that you're only going to have 7 wins out of your top 3 guys in rotation, you're going to have them miss significant amount of time. Dylan Cease was going to be playing his worst that he has ever played in his career. You were going to have multiple times where Jackson Merrill was missing time and has only 7 home runs on the season. You're going to talk about how Xander Bogaerts missed half the time, whatever it was, or missed a decent amount of time. Or really, reality, didn't play a good first half of the season until recently. I mean, think about all the things that have gone wrong for the Padres in the first half. The fact that they're 8 games above 500, either you would say, like Jason said, you're nuts, or you'd be like, oh, I would absolutely take that. I would consider it a successful first half of the season. If you're looking for the Padres to be in first place in the National League West as the first half success, I think you're kind of crazy, considering all that is considered. The 7-game in a row start to start the season and a 14-3 start to the year might have given a lot of people some false sense of hope, like they were just going to wreck shop through the entire first half of the year. They got off to a really good start. And I said it when it happened, how important it was for the Padres to get off to a good start. So you don't have to rely on doing what they did in the second half last season again this season. I would consider it a success. I think the first half of the season was successful. I think it'd be very hard-pressed to say it was a failure. If we're talking success and failure, give me a reason why it was a failure. I mean, at 8 games above 500 and in a wild card spot and 5.5 games out of the division lead, considering your catching position is abysmal offensively, considering you're playing really with, maybe 7 guys offensively in your batting order, considering the fact that you've missed your top 3 starters for the majority of the season, if you want to include Joe Musgrove. I mean, with everything considered, the fact that they're 8 games above 500 and right there in competition for a division spot after taking 2 out of 3 from Philly over the weekend, I think you have to consider it a success. I mean, you could talk about all you want about record against teams above 500, which changes on the daily. And is a sense why I think you treat that stat with a grain of salt. Does it look like, I mean, obviously you could take something out of it. Padres haven't played well against teams above 500, but the thing that's really killing them right now is Atlanta has turned into an awful team. There's a lot of other teams that have been hovering around 500 that are teams they lost to that might be above, and teams that they have beat that are right below. That's going to play itself out. But overall, I think it's a success. Success or failure, Frank, first half?
100% success. I think there are things that you could be concerned about as far as the bottom of the order not hitting with runners in scoring position. But if you take a look at the whole of this season, you got out to that hot start and you've maintained it, which is great because a lot of teams cannot maintain that hot start and they fall not playing 500 baseball since the hot start. They fall to just 500 baseball, period. So the fact that the Padres have been able to stay in this position all season long, despite all of the injuries, missing all of the starting pitching, it's a monster success so far for this team.
I mean, you're playing it. Everybody else is using a DH. The Padres got a pitcher hitting. I mean, that's basically what it looks like.
Get 3 of them.
Yeah, to be honest with you. We got like 6 guys in the lineup that can swing the stick. Other than that, I mean, come on. And look, like somebody in the chat wants to go 0 barrels for Luis Campusano and 20 at-bats. You know what the significant thing in there is that? You know what sticks out to me, Frank, on that stat? 0 barrels and 20 at-bats?
One more time, sorry.
Campusano 0 barrels and 20 at-bats.
I heard that.
What sticks out to you? The 0 barrels or
20
the 20
at-bats?
20 at-bats. I mean, 20 at-bats, man. Come on. You can't ask a kid to have 20 at-bats and expect them to just go out there and rake. I mean, it's hard to do. Up and down all the time, not knowing when you're starting, not knowing what you're doing. I mean, 20 at-bats tells you the story there. I'm not saying Luis Campusano's a future stud for the Padres, but if they're going to try to find a spot for him on this team, they got to give him more than 20 at-bats in a first half of the season. How do we think the Padres' first half was? Success? Failure? Give us a phone call. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get back to them as we come back in the 11 o'clock hour. San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 11 o'clock hour on 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage is brought to you by T-Mobile. As I wait for the Liners page to load up. The draft is going on.
Now you know how I feel waiting for the rundown sheet to load up at home.
I don't know why your rundown sheet doesn't work for you and like the liner sheet doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work at home. It works fine here, but I don't want to be here longer than I need to be.
And that's also a fact. Baseball coverage on 97 The Fans presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on iPhone 16 Pro. 11 o'clock hour, Braden Surprenant show. Was the Padres' first half of the season a success or a failure? We both think it's been a success. We've asked the poll in the chat, which Frank just shut down. 65% of you have said yes, 25% said kinda, 9% said no. Let me know what you think. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Kevin in Chula Vista wants to weigh in. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, thanks, Braden, and glad you had a great time out at OTL. Back in the day, I was out there playing too until I smashed up my right index finger knuckle, and they had to wire it all back together. That was the end of that.
That's unfortunate, but that's the OTL injuries out there. Hopefully, you had fun before that happened.
It was. It's just when you're young enough, you got the bones to play. I would encourage everybody to get out there and have yourselves a great time, because you never know when that injury is going to happen, and that's going to be, you're going to be sitting on the sidelines like Frank and watching things. So, Frank, you need to get your ass out there, man. Get out there.
OG
so anyway,
says get out there. Let's go. What do we got on the first half of the season?
Get out there. Absolutely. So, look, this is a funky team, and for various reasons, but mostly I think Manny summed it up best yesterday. They have not played their best baseball yet, and very relieved he was, and I'm relieved. I think everybody's relieved that we've gotten this far, living off of the grace of the start. And let it be said, and for forever, it is important, Braden, to get off to a good start, because you can live off of that for a long time. Ask the Atlanta Braves what happened to them, because they tanked at the start. They still haven't recovered. Maybe they will in the second half. Who knows? But yes, that start for the Padres, they've lived off of that through some very dark times with this team. And, just when you think that, the end is near with the Padres, they come back and take 2 out of 3 from Philly, and they beat Wheeler. So, it'd be nice to see this team, I've said this before, I'll say it again, to get the core 6 all playing together at a high level, no more injuries. And I'm talking about the pitchers as well. There are stud pitchers with you and Mike King. We got to get everybody back. If everybody gets back and performs at a high level, which they are expected to do, they're expected to win the World Series, not to show up to the playoffs, this team can be hell on wheels. But we've got to get to that point, and that's what we're all waiting for, I think. So cross our fingers, and let's hope for better times coming in the second half, because they're going to need it.
I think so too, Kevin, and I appreciate the phone call. I think those better times are coming. I like what I saw out of the Padres over the weekend against the Philadelphia Phillies. You take a look back at overall and what happened over the weekend. Jeremiah Estrada and company got a good victory on Friday. Ryan Berger, I thought, was good. 4 2/3 innings pitched for Ryan Berger. 3 hits, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 82 pitches, 52 strikes. Guy was drafted not too long ago by the San Diego Padres out of West Virginia. The draft that's going on right now, we'll try to keep you updated on everything that the Padres have done in terms of the MLB draft. We'll talk about their first-round pick, in which the Padres have continued to draft 80 grade names. Cruz Schoolcraft. What a name. I think Frank's recruiting him on NCAA 26 as we speak. Cruz Schoolcraft. He was the 25th pick in the first round. Let's go back to the weekend now. Padres, good job against the Phillies on Friday. Burgert was great. Jeremiah Estrada ends up getting the win. Suarez gets the loss. I mean, you were able to beat one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, Ranger Suarez. He came in with a sub-2 ERA in a Friday night's game. Robert Suarez got his 28th save of the season. Xander Bogaerts had a big night offensively in that game as well. But again, the Padres battled with Philadelphia and end up getting the W on Friday. Saturday, same thing. Fell into a 2-0 deficit. And then Jackson Merrill got back to swinging things. Hits a 2-run bomb. Martin Maldonado a little bit later drives in the go-ahead run to go up 3-2. Phillies come back a little bit. Padres continue to answer. And the Padres end up winning Game 2, 5-4. David Morgan got a victory. Jeremiah Estrada picked up a save. And then yesterday's game, I thought yesterday's game was the Padres were in a spot. I mean, they a little bit tough offensively, going against Christopher Sanchez, who's 8-2 on the year and has had a great season in the first half of the season for Philadelphia. Had him on the ropes a couple of times. Were only able to muster one run against Sanchez, and then they rallied again. Padres rallied again late and were unable to score. And that one run in the 8th inning for Philadelphia ended up taking it over the top. But even in that one run, I mean, you're watching that 8th inning, and David Morgan's getting absolutely squeezed in the JT Realmuto at bat. I mean, he got squeezed for 3 straight pitches, which led to a very favorable count for JT Realmuto, and he put the ball in the gap to take the 1-run lead. This is why, with the, umpire evaluation, the Padres got to be able to score more than 1 run on 7 hits. But at the same time, you can't tell me umpires don't have an impact on the game. I mean, David Morgan's getting absolutely squeezed. If you look at the picture that Sam Levitt put out of the strike zone, there's 3 balls completely in the strike zone, all called balls. And then it led to a favorable count that led to a hit. I mean, these things matter. We got ABS in the All-Star game tomorrow. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. There's a lot to break down from Dennis Linton's article yesterday, in which he lays out who the Padres are interested in, what's going to be the case in order to acquire said players, and kind of an overall evaluation of not only this weekend, but the first half in general. What's interesting is the Padres, again, trying to find anything that involves the catching position. We've talked about Luis Campusano, and there's people that are just, hating on him, and I don't think he's very good. It's just he hasn't been very good. They obviously don't trust him catching the pitchers. There's something underlying there as well with the way that they have used Luis Campusano. But I think if we're going to, I say this a lot. I'm a fair guy. I'm going to keep things fair. To me, it's unfair to evaluate a catcher like Luis Campusano on the amount of at-bats that he has this season. And again, I don't know what he's on the team for, because they're not really using him at all. He goes down to AAA, he gets everyday at-bats, he rakes. This season, he has 21 at-bats. I don't know how you can get into a rhythm or get into any type of comfortability in the box when you have 21 at-bats over 4 different stints of being with the big league club. I don't understand how you could do that. Last season, he had 227, not great. The season before that, in 2023, Campusano at 319 at the big league level in 49 games. 1.1 WAR. I mean, if you want to talk about limited sample size, he had 174 plate appearances in 2023. Hit 319 and then 847 OPS, 7 home runs. He had 8 home runs last year in just 91 games played. And under 300 at-bats. He's yet to have 300 at-bats in a major league season. How do you know at all what he is capable of doing at the major league level? You don't. We've seen this multiple times. But obviously, the Padres, it would behove them to have Luis Campusano be able to play and be a catcher for the major league club, because it would save them on making any type of trade to go improve the catching position, which is very difficult to do. I mean, we're going to look at one of the names that was mentioned by Dennis Lin in his latest article that he put out last night, Corey Lee. Corey Lee has been mentioned for the Padres to potentially trade for at the deadline. Corey Lee has 28 at-bats this season. Corey Lee in 495 at-bats at the big league level in his career is hitting a .192. In 28 at-bats this season, he's hitting .250 because he's 7 for 28. He's from Escondido, went to Cal Berkeley, was a first-round draft pick out of Houston. First-round draft pick by Houston. He's already on his second organization. And for the 6-foot-tall, 225-pound right-handed catcher, I mean, statistically, is that the guy? I mean, is that an improvement? Are we going to evaluate this guy in 28 at-bats? It makes no sense. Campusano sucks. He hasn't got a hit in 20 at-bats, but we're going to go trade for Corey Lee, who's got 28 at-bats. I mean, you got to give some of these guys time at the big leagues to understand what they're able to do. We'll talk a little bit about Corey Lee. See if he's on the radar for the Padres when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, and get your phone calls on San Antonio Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. not over yet. Just getting started on a Monday. Still a little wounded from Saturday. My body's wounded more than anything else. I was good to go Sunday morning. I felt great. You know who did not feel great? The 24-year-olds. They did not feel great on the Sunday morning. Now, did they party after OTL at their place? Yes, they did. Maybe to take the pain off of the broken finger. But I felt good. I was rejuvenated. You know what rejuvenated me? You know the answer. I told you up there. But
A craft taco?
yes, it would have, but they're closed at that time. So if it didn't take me 2 hours to get off the island, I would have, craft taco. Rejuvenate me maybe tomorrow. No, what rejuvenate? So I'm sitting in the it was like sitting in traffic leaving Vegas is what the feeling was. Trying to leave the island. Except you're in the hot sun all day. Your body hurts. At least we didn't lose a bunch of money. Sam was hanging out the window of the truck. And at some point, it was a lot of... My friends decided to... Let me ask you this, if this is something that you would snap somebody off on. Or in a Toyota Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
Nicky P's driving, not
Right.
Nick Pavetta.
Yeah.
Nicky P we met. He was our DD, didn't drink that day. We're safe. I got front seat. And I got Sam's in the back, wounded.
Okay.
His head is out. His upper body is outside the truck. And the other two, Matt, who filmed,
Mm-hmm.
and Mike, Penn State Mike,
Yes.
they thought it'd be fun to just kind of they were trying to make the times better, right? So they decided to do this. Now I got Mike sitting right behind me. I got a headache. But you know what? I'll participate in their antics a little bit, to an extent. Okay? I'm sitting in traffic. And we're not even moving. I mean, I think there was
Not
a
much
couple
else you
times where
could do.
we did not move on the island for 30 minutes. And then we'd creep. So my friends, Matt and Mike, thought it'd be fun to play I'm going to name a team. You name me the player. We're going to keep naming players that played for that team until whatever.
Okay.
Which turned into an excuse for them just to name only Washington State Cougars, Penn State Nittany Lions,
God.
UC Irvine Anteaters, and West Kentucky Hilltoppers. The teams they watch. I was like, oh, here we go. Oh, can you name me a San Diego Charger? Ryan Leaf. Oh, who would have guessed? The Washington State guy said Ryan Leaf. And so I was like, okay, whatever. But some of the reactions, Mike gets excited. He starts moving my chair and hitting the back of my chair like a child on an airplane. And I was like, dude, I'm going to need you to stop doing that. Come on, man. Just having fun. And I'm like, I have a massive headache. I don't want to deal with the chair. Okay. Later on, same thing. Then they changed the game. So then the game changed to, if I say, let's keep it simple here. I got Corey Lee's page pulled up. So if I say Corey Lee, you have to name me an athlete that his first name starts with the letter L.
So just go down. It's like a
So just name
like
me,
a chain.
Yeah, name me an athlete that starts with his first name starts with the letter L.
Larry Walker.
Larry Walker. So then I got to say somebody that starts with the name that starts with a W. Wadi Peralta. And then so you go, and so whoever can't get it loses. That went on for 2 hours, dude. And I'm sitting there going,
that's not bad.
I know it's not, but at the same time, that with the mix of in the back of the head chair,
But
I'm already irritated because I don't know why nobody's moving off the island and I'm parked there. I'm tired. I have not consumed any food besides 2 Uncrustables that I had at 10 or 11 in the morning. I thank God I stopped drinking at 4 o'clock because we ran out of beer. Otherwise, I'd have been hurting even more. And I could not wait to get off the island. Then Sushi Sam. I mean, I had to snap at him a little bit too. He's like, I just want to go home. Oh, you don't think any of us want to go home? No, we just want to sit here, dude. Yeah. And guess who got to get dropped off at his house first because we all decided to meet at my brother's house? Sam. Dropped his ass off. I go over to get my car. Again, by that time I'm now you're just wounded.
Mm-hmm.
My head hurts, my body hurts, but I hadn't drank in forever, so I was good enough to. I was completely sober by the time I got to my brother's house. So I go to Taco Bell down here, and I order I get 2 crunchy taco supremes, 2 beefy 5-layer burritos, a nachos Bel Grande, and a gigantic Baja Blast. And I was like, I don't even care how many calories this is. I don't care what's in this. I still have a massive headache. I get home. I am not walking into my house with Fiesta Island on me, so I have to get the hose out. I fire up the hose outside. It's like it's broken. So like half of the water is hitting me in the face as I turn it on, and the other half's going through the thing. And again, it's like 10:30 at night. So I'm hosing off just my legs. I was like, I'll hose off my legs and my feet, so at least I can get inside to my house and I could take a shower. I get inside, I take 4 Advil.
Oh gosh.
And I sit in the shower for like 40 minutes. I sit there. After I was done taking a shower, I felt like I still needed to take 2 more showers because that's how you feel leaving Fiesta Island. I go downstairs. My Taco Bell's probably cooled off a little bit more than it needed to be, but I was like, I didn't care. I'm going to eat it when I eat it. So the shower got me back to 50%. That Taco Bell hit. I felt great. I felt ready to take on the world. The Advil kicked in. The Baja Blast got the caffeine bumping through my body. The food was hit. I slept great, and I got rid of the hangover the night before. So the next morning I felt awesome. The 24-year-olds did not feel rejuvenated the next morning.
The gourmet recovery meal.
That was great. If we had Whataburger, it would have been Whataburger. I was going to go to Long Island Mike's on the way out to get pizza. Boy,
look at you.
That was at 7 o'clock, 7:30 when I got into the truck.
Yeah.
Because they close at 9.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get off the island until 10. I was like, all right, well, it looks like it's going to be Taco Bell. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get to Brandon in Carlsbad. Brandon, what's going on, man?
Hey, boys, always fired up, always blessed, and good to hear from you guys. Let's just break it down real quick. All right. At the break, we were 50-49 last year. We're 52-44 now. I mean, we took one from Philly, which have always been a bugger. Who knows what Preller's going to do? I'm just saying, let's just be fired up because we were fired up this time last year. I know there's a lot of frustration out there. The whole left field, the catching issue, blah. But you know what? We're still sitting right. And I think we're exactly where we need to be. Merrill hit 2 home runs. You and I had this conversation last week and the week before. And, guys, that's it, man. Just very blessed to see that we could do what we can do, but I know we can do more as well. Let's go, Padres. God bless, guys.
Thank you, Brandon. Always getting you fired up on a Monday. I needed that Saturday night is when I needed that pep talk. What did you do when you got home? Did you go play NCAA? I'm still yet to buy the game, by the way.
Oh my goodness, with you. You had all day yesterday too.
I did not leave my couch.
I did pretty much. I got some things done that I needed to get done, and then off to NCAA, defensive coordinator, Kent State. I wanted to throw something through my TV because the offense was doing nothing. And that was my day.
Go Ask Sex is still waiting for an invite.
That is something I did forget. I apologize for that.
Put your gamer tag in there. If you want to take on Frank, he'll start adding people. No, I'm saying tell the people.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And then he could pick and choose. You could pick and choose. What's our how's our season going? Were you at Kent State?
I was at Kent State.
That's miserable.
Season 1's already over. Playing as the defensive coordinator, defense only.
Picking defensive coordinator. I'm a defensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator. You know what? That's like the one thing I'll never pick is defensive coordinator. Really?
Yeah.
That's diabolical, dude. What are you picking to be a DC for in a video game? That sounds like impossible.
Because you're always playing offense, so it's like I'll do something a little bit different. I'll try to get better at defense. So that's what I did. Not realizing that Kent State is worse than I had anticipated. And their offense could not score a touchdown, period.
That's why I always pick OC, because I know I can score, and eventually the computer's going to make a stop.
The The Kent State computer offense put up 166 points during season 1, which was about 50 points less than anyone else in the league. I was in tears. We won a game 15-3. Not a touchdown.
You sound like my dad when he was coaching at Kearney.
I have for anyone who is interested, I do have a Google spreadsheet that I picked up from Reddit that I filled out for season 1. If you guys would like to see it,
You got to share
I will
that with
post
me.
it
I
on
gotta see what
Twitter.
it's like.
Yes, will do. I will
I
post
gotta
that on
download the
Twitter.
game too. I can't believe the DC thing is crazy. That is some sicko stuff right there.
Well,
833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. There's a couple things from Dennis Lynn's article last night that we're going to talk about when we come back. It involves the Padres and what might the additions be, as mentioned by Brandon in Carlsbad. Padres looking at a catcher not in Atlanta. We'll talk about him when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Stadium's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. $11:34, Braden Surprenant show on a Monday morning. All-Star Week. We got a lot of plans for All-Star. We got a lot of guests coming up. Keep you updated on minor leagues. And we'll keep you updated on the MLB draft as well. San Diego Padres, of course, made their first-round pick last night. They had 2 picks last night, even though they went to the first 3 rounds. They did not have a second-round pick. But the Padres' first-round pick was left-handed pitcher Cruz Schoolcraft, who was the 25th pick in the first round out of Sunset High School in Portland, Oregon. 18-year-old, 6'8", 229 pounds. Now, he was a two-way guy with good pop, batting from the left side. The Padres last night said he's going to focus on pitching. He fell a little bit in the draft because he told everybody he was going to Tennessee. But the Padres, I've been told, had him as a top 5 player in this year's draft. So based on maybe the Padres draft board, they might have got somebody that they thought was a top 5 player, and they got him with pick number 25. We'll talk more about Cruz Schoolcraft, and there was a little bit of media availability yesterday. We'll try to pull some of that for you guys as we meet the first-round draft pick of the Padres. And again, like a lot of these guys get to the league a lot faster than you would expect. I mean, there's, I think, 8 players from last year's draft have already made their major league debut, especially for the college side. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's pull a couple of things from the Dennis Lynn article from yesterday. The things that really stand out to me in this, okay, so the number one was the Corey Lee situation, because this is the first time I have heard of Corey Lee, who's from Escondido High School. According to league sources, here's the latest that was on the trade deadline stuff. So there's a couple things from this Dennis Lynn article I want to discuss. According to team and league sources, the Padres remain enamored of Jarren Duran, who still might be viewed as expendable by the surging outfielder-laden Boston Red Sox. Duran is not an ideal fit for a lineup lacking power and enough ability to combat lefties, but the Padres are not in a position to be especially picky. Their shallow depth was again emphasized Sunday with Gavin Sheets going on the paternity list. Congratulations to him and his wife. And Luis Camposano recalled from AAA, going 0 for 3 to extend his hit streak of big league plate appearances without a hit to 27. That leads into this. That's the longest such streak to begin an individual season since Chicago White Sox catcher Corey Lee logged 28 consecutive hitless plate appearances after being recalled in August of 2023. Coincidentally, a league source said Lee has drawn trade interest from the Padres in 2025. The 26-year-old continues to be a glove-first catcher, but he has shown some utility with his bat, hitting 12 big league homers last season and recording a 780 on-base plus slugging percentage this season in AAA. So he's from Escondido, according to Baseball Reference, but went to Vista High School. Okay. Sorry, man. Don't know Corey Lee personally. You guys don't have to be so irritated about it. Didn't know there's a huge Vista Escondido rivalry. Remember, like I said, anybody that lives south of the 52 thinks it's all Orange County anyway. Duran and Lee represent only a pair of targets for Preller, who, as always, is exploring a wide variety of possibilities. The Padres, at least for now, do not seem as worried about their starting pitching, which I agree with. Last week, in his first 2 starts of the season, Yu Darvish displayed understandable rust and encouraging stuff. Opening day starter Michael King, sidelined since May by a nerve issue, has made significant progress toward a potential return in August. Okay, Corey Lee, who's from Escondido, according to Baseball Reference. He was born in Escondido, went to Vista High School, according to the chat. Here's the thing with Corey Lee that's interesting to me. This is what's pointed out. He's a glove-first catcher, which is what Mike Schilt likes. He likes the glove-first catcher. Most Major League Baseball teams do. So, with him being a glove-first catcher compared to Luis Campusano not being a glove-first catcher, Corey Lee has an opportunity to potentially mix in and help defensively and also handle a pitching staff. That's some good news. The better news is, even though his bat is not great in terms of overall offensive production, it is still drastically better than Elias Diaz this year and Martín Maldonado. Again, Corey Lee only has 28 at-bats this season. So, there's that. Corey Lee has also had a long stretch of 28 consecutive hitless plate appearances, just like Luis Campusano did this year. I mean, Campusano still hasn't gotten a hit yet. Which I think is funny, like everybody that's talking about Luis Campusano and he needs to get out of here, all of a sudden the Padres, like what's the reaction going to be when they bring in Corey Lee, who has done the exact same thing? 28 consecutive hitless plate appearances when he was recalled by the White Sox in August of 2023. There's probably more upside offensively in Luis Campusano than there is in Corey Lee. But Corey Lee at least gives you that sense of he can catch, and he's a glove-first catcher, which is something that Mike Schilt obviously values. We haven't seen Campusano catch too much. He's more of a bat-first catcher, and he hasn't done really anything like that yet. So maybe by bringing in a guy like Corey Lee, he will be able to catch a little bit more compared to Martín Maldonado and Elias Diaz. You can send one of them off and then take your chances with a younger player. He's only 26 years old, coming out of Cal Berkeley. Maybe he has an opportunity and a little bit of an upside to at least improve on his hitting. I mean, Elias Diaz and Martín Maldonado are up there in years. They don't have a lot left. At least there's upside with Corey Lee. Now, that being said, there's not really much not really much in terms of what you have to give up for this player because he's got a 0.2 WAR. Again, only 28 at-bats. He's only 26 years old. You'll have some years of control, but at least you're going with a young kind of catcher mixed in. Maybe it gives you an opportunity to send Luis Campusano elsewhere. Maybe this is the backstop that you can kind of hold a spot until you bring up Ethan Salas, whenever that may be. That's the first thing that sticks out to me. We see again the Jaron Duran talk. And again, the other thing that I found interesting in this Dennis Lin article, Duran and Lee represent only a pair of targets for Preller, who, as always, is exploring a wide variety of possibilities. So the trade deadline stuff has really, really jumped out to me. Here's another one that sticks with the trade topic. Around Petco Park, with day of two-day MLB draft winding down, this is written last night, There was a feeling A.J. Preller would not wait until the final hours before the July 31st trade deadline to act. Indeed, additions could be coming well before then. That's also interesting. I think now we're in a position. Remember, I kept saying, because everybody was freaking out for the last 2 months, they got to make a move, they got to make a move, they got to make a move. I kept saying, be patient, because now is not the time to make a move. Wait till at least the All-Star break, and then you'll start seeing some things start to move. So now we're at the All-Star break. I think now the window is open to potentially make a trade for A.J. Preller and the San Diego Padres. I think the window's open now. From Friday, in reality, from Thursday to July 31st, I would imagine you're going to start seeing some moves be made throughout Major League Baseball. Whether it involves the Padres or not, that remains to be seen. I was asked that question today. Saw our friend Brett Rippin at the gym, Frank. Padres going to be active during the trade deadline? I said, probably. He said, are they going to be buyers or sellers? I'm like, buyers, dude. At this point in time, 8 games above 500, we know what A.J. Preller's about. So you could see that potentially happening before the trade deadline. Here's the last thing that really stood out to me, and then we're going to get to the sports thread. When the San Diego Padres return to Petco Park on July 28th, the roster could look a bit different. Remember, the Padres come here just before the trade deadline. So when that happens, there's a possibility that lineup card that is announced by Alex Miniak might have a couple of new faces in it. Interesting stuff from Dennis Lin. The Corey Lee thing kind of throws me off. But again, he mentions it's only a pair of what they might be interested in. We'll see what happens after the MLB draft. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. It's time for today's sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do we got in the sports world that is not the Padres or over the line?
Well, we've got a couple things here.
Number 1.
Former Michigan football staff member Connor Stallions, whose action triggered an NCAA investigation into sign stealing, says he knew almost every signal opponents used in 7 games over 2 seasons. Those 7 games, as labeled here, 2021 against Michigan State, 2022 against Michigan State, 2022 against Penn State, 2022 against Ohio State, 2022 against TCU, 2021 against Georgia, and 2021 against Wisconsin. Stallions wrote in his post, we lost 3 of those games because we didn't tackle well, and Georgia was historically good. We won the other 4 because we were dominant on the line of scrimmage and tackled well, blocking, ball security, tackling, run fits, and coverage tools. That's football. It's not rocket science. Does Stallions get a pass because they went 4-3 in those games that they cheated?
No, I don't think you get a pass. I mean, one of the games they lost, TCU got wind that they were cheating and they faked their signals. They pulled a Mike Leach and let them win on a couple plays and then did a fake signal and opened things up. I mean, that they got outsmarted. They got outsmarted in that game. Savvy Sonny Dykes, huh? No, I think, they went to, and the sign stealing thing went to a different level. And here's the thing with college football. At the high school level, you could go and scout games. At the college level, you're not allowed to do that. You just have to trade tape. So you violated the rules. Those are the rules built in place. And, you don't get a pass. He's asking for a pass?
No, it's so weird. It's like, oh yeah, we went 4-3 in those 7 games that we cheated in. Why is it such a big deal? That's kind of how this reads to me.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't win all 7. We lost a couple of them. It's like, it doesn't matter, dude.
And they're not the ones that they're not the only ones that. I mean, the reason why you have those big signs that have all the logos on there and stuff like that, they're not calling plays. They're blocking the cameras. They're blocking the scout cameras. I mean, we had to be on the lookout for that all the time when I was doing video for TCU. There's a couple times where they had like 2 50-yard line cameras, and my boss was so paranoid about it. They're like, "Can you look, see what they're filming?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll check." Usually it was innocent, but at the same time, it's like everybody's on edge.
Yeah,
and they knew that and try to get sneaky-er on some of those things. It's like, hey, you violated the rules, and just because you lost doesn't mean it's okay. Like if the Astros cheated, right, with the trash can thing, if they lost, everybody's gonna be like, it's whatever. Who cares? They cheated and they lost. No, still cheated.
I just don't understand why they needed to cheat to beat Michigan State. Of all the teams in the Big Ten, it's Michigan State.
I'm not a huge Harbaugh guy. There's a lot of people in this town that love him because he coached at USD. You hear stories about him behind the scenes. I'm not a big Harbaugh guy.
Yeah, I don't.
Number 2.
The NFL retirement, and Ndamukong Suh issued a heartfelt statement on the anniversary of his father's death, saying he is officially retiring from the NFL. July 12th, 2024 was the hardest day of my life. It is the day that I said goodbye to my father, the man who raised me, shaped me, challenged me, and believed in me before I believed in myself. Ndamukong Suh, 38, was the number 2 overall pick in 2010 by the Lions, spent 5 seasons in Detroit, then went to play for Miami, the Rams, the Bucks, and eventually the Philadelphia Eagles. He has not played in the last 2 seasons. How will you remember Ndamukong Suh?
I think kind of like a dirty player.
Yeah, he kind of was.
That's the first. There's a couple things that immediately pop into my mind. I think of Nebraska football.
Yes.
I think of them getting cheated out of a win at the Big 12 championship game against Texas. I think of them destroying Arizona here at the Holiday Bowl with Ndamukong Suh. And then I think of all the antics of him being a dirty player.
Yep.
That's what pops in my head. And like, once you start being like a dirty player, you get that mantra, you get that label. It's hard to overcome that. And there was a couple of Hard Knocks that he was on where I'm like, this guy doesn't seem that bad. But then every time he started to show progress, he would do something dumb again on the field. He'd be like, this guy's a dirty player.
Yep.
That's the first thing that pops into my mind. I'm not, I don't really have an opinion on Ndamukong Suh one way or the other, but you asked what you remember him as. That's what's the first thing that pops into my mind.
My favorite is I think it was Jameis Winston's interview. We got to prepare for Donkey Kong Suh. I will always remember that. It's funny to me. It just is.
Number 3.
The new agency in charge of regulating name, image, and likeness deals in college sports sent a letter to schools on Thursday, this past Thursday, saying it had rejected deals between players and donor-backed collectives formed over the past several years to funnel money to athletics or the schools. Those arrangements had no, quote, valid business purpose, the memo said, and did not adhere to the rules that call for outside NIL deals to be between players and companies that provide goods or services to the general public for profit. The letter to D1 athletic directors could be the next step in shuttering today's version of collective groups that are closely affiliated with schools and that in the early days of NIL. Braden, interesting to see that some of these are actually being flagged and are actually getting denied.
Well, I'm glad some are getting flagged. That means they're doing their job, right? I mean, paying a kid $1.5 million to endorse a local car dealership twice is not. It doesn't justify the payment for it, right? I mean, it needs to be realistic stuff. Hopefully this puts the kibosh on some crazy NIL deals and start leveling the playing field a little bit. I don't think it's going to end the Wild Wild West, but it might start taming it. Maybe this got Wyatt Earp rolling into town with this with this company. So hopefully it eliminates some of these overspending.
Speaking of Wyatt Earp, your brother had a pretty solid mustache going this weekend.
Matt's got a good cowboy mustache, like I had.
Yep.
He had it first. He had it first.
and he's rocking it pretty good. I will admit.
Number 4.
The Dallas Mavericks have shut down Cooper Flagg for the remainder of the NBA Summer League. The Mavs off.
Hang on, timeout. For a guy that was docking the Summer League so much, you brought a Summer League question into the sports thread? I'm not
because
mad.
there's nothing
I'm not
else.
mad. I'm disappointed.
There's nothing else.
Carry on.
Man. The Mavs opted to shut down Flagg after the number 1 pick scored 31 points on Saturday's game against number 2 pick Dylan Harper of the San Antonio Spurs. Flagg shot 10 for 21 from the floor in a bounce-back performance from his Summer League debut against the Lakers on Thursday, when he struggled for just 10 points, shooting 5 of 21. Is it smart to shut down Cooper Flagg so soon into Summer League? It's not an injury concern. It's just they're shutting him down.
They've seen enough.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. They've seen enough. Like, what does he need to do Summer League for if they go like, oh, this guy can play? I mean, I'd rather have him fresh for the season. I don't know. I don't know if Wemby got shut down last year, but I mean, how many games do you need to watch him play? When's the season start? October?
Yeah, I would think. It's like the end of October, beginning of November. Wouldn't you think you'd want to see him playing
more than just one game?
Yeah, it's like 2 games, 1 or 2 games. Wouldn't you want to see him like get up to pace?
It'd be
with
nice
the
to
NBA
see him
play, and
since he was only a freshman last year, right?
Yeah,
and I'd probably like to see him 3 or 4 times, but maybe they feel like it's not him getting hurt. It's not worth the evaluation process. The risk does not outweigh the reward.
Sure.
They like what they've seen. Just like they like what they saw out of Anthony Davis to make the big trade.
Well, you know.
I mean, come on. You don't trust Nico? You don't trust Nico's decisions?
I have a couple questions.
Start the noon lunchtime hour. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Padres drafts. First round draft pick. Looks pretty good. Talk about him next.
Time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime years.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
Noon lunchtime hour on the Braden Surprenant Show on 97 through the Fan is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. Where's the foul?
He draws the foul.
All right. Got that out of the way.
Not after tomorrow, though. Not after tomorrow.
You better hope Eddie shows up with the tacos.
I really do.
I got to get that read in before the tacos officially, before you down one. Eddie is nice enough from Craft Taco to bring us some tacos tomorrow. So we're going to be excited to consume Craft Taco. We'll show some of them on the YouTube video for you so you can see what you're working with here and you can go pay Eddie a visit. So I want to go with a couple of things here. Frank's got to get some of the things clipped off from last night. And from Cruz Schoolcraft. What a name. I'm thinking about the names that the Padres have drafted the last couple of years. Have been pretty epic. There's a breaking news story in the National Football that involves the National Football League that I want to get to. It's kind of wild. It's a new addition to the sports thread. But let's get some housekeeping done. If you haven't done so already, follow us on social media at @B_SURP, at @B_SURP show. Follow Frank Marchese at FMarks324. Marks with a Z. Follow us on Instagram, 97 through the Fan. If any of those seem a little confusing for you, we have posted all of our links in the bio below. Sorry, in the description below. In this description below, you can follow us everywhere. The one thing we're really trying to do right now is we're trying to build some subscriptions for our YouTube page at @B_SURP. There's a link. It's the top link in the description page. Click on it. Hit subscribe. Trying to get our show out there, our brand out there. It's what I was trying to do with some of the T-shirts last night as well, or sorry, on Saturday at OTL. But you can watch this show live on my YouTube page as well as 97 Through the Fans YouTube page. So give us a like on this video if you haven't done so. Subscribe to our YouTube page at @B_SURP. If you're watching and you watch all the time on 97 Through the Fan on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, why haven't you? First of all. Second of all, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps us out, and it makes it a lot easier for you to access our shows. Because when you subscribe, it's a lot easier to find. You have to search for it. We want to get to 500 on the Braden Surprenant Show page. We're at 245 right now, trying to get to that 500 mark. We got a lot of people that are watching this on that page as well, and we're trying to get the fan account to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the baseball season. We're at 7,300 subscribers on the 97.3 fan account. If you haven't done so already, it's super easy. If you're listening on the radio, you can still do it on your phone, on the YouTube app. It's easy to subscribe. We really appreciate that. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're anywhere you can listen to audio. We are everywhere. Odyssey app, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it may be, iHeart app, whatever it is, we're there. You can find our show. Subscribe to us. We're really trying to grow our listenership as well. So we really appreciate that. If you haven't done so already, again, follow us on social media. We have great content. Like I'm about to post a video from our softball game last week that's pretty funny going on our Instagram account. We're going to have tons of videos from Over the Line posting up on our YouTube page and on our Instagram page. So again, give us a follow, give us a like, subscribe. It really helps us out. We really appreciate it. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Teddy Bridgewater for a second. Look, I'm a football guy. I like talking about football. I'm a baseball guy too. So we like mixing in football stories. We're going to be having great coverage of college football. I mean, you're already talking to two college football sickos right here, and Frank Marchese and myself. You should see the spreadsheet he's made for College Football 26. That is some sicko stuff. But he's dialed in. We're excited. We're excited for the football season. This is going to be the show that you want to listen to during the football year, whether it be college football, NFL, whatever it may be. Try to find some more time to mix in some high school content as well. And we're still going to talk Padres baseball, but nobody's going to give you an in-depth look at football during the fall when the baseball season slows down like our show is. Listening to it from a coach that is active in the coaching world right now. This is a interesting football story that does involve high school. Former NFL quarterback Teddy Bridgewater has been suspended from his position as a high school football coach in Miami for allegedly providing impermissible benefits to his players. Bridgewater, who's 32, confirmed his suspension by Miami Northwestern in a Facebook post Sunday, but said he remains committed to his alma mater. Quote, "The suspension came from Miami Northwestern, and it's impossible to suspend someone who doesn't work for you. So if I'm suspended from Miami Northwestern, I'm free to go to another school of my choice, but I'm not going anywhere. And if it comes down to it, I will volunteer from the bleachers like I used to in 2018 and 2019 when no one had a problem." Bridgewater led Miami Northwestern to a Class 3A state championship in his first season as a coach in 2024. He returned to the NFL in December to serve as Jared Goff's backup with the Detroit Lions, yada, 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 yada. Bridgewater posted earlier this month on Facebook. And here's what you got on this. It's honestly fascinating, this story. And I got to find the numbers here because it was in a different article than I was doing right here. But it was it's this football page. Here it is. Okay, so Bridgewater posted earlier this month on Facebook that he paid for Uber rides, meals, and recovery services for his players last season. He has fans that donate to help cover such expenses this year. He said in the post confirming his suspension that he self-reported the payments to Miami Northwestern. The Florida High School Athletic Association confirmed to Rivals on Monday that it is gathering more information. According to sources, now take this for what it's worth. This is what they said. This is what has been said that Teddy Bridgewater has done in terms of impermissible benefits for his high school team. Bridgewater paid out of pocket for training camp $14,000. Pride sets, $9,500. I don't necessarily know what that is. Pre-game meals, $2,200 a week. Recovery for his team, $1,300 a week. Uber, $700 a week. And field paint, $300 a week. I don't know, honestly. Like, let me ask, what am I missing here? Why is this not okay? It's not like, and now if he's paying kids to play for his high school, okay, we're getting to a whole different can of worms here. And maybe that is for the training camp. But what's the difference between Teddy Bridgewater being an alumni of a school and donating money to the school to use this stuff for, and being alumni and head coach of the school and paying out of pocket for the betterment of his team? What's the problem here? Am I missing something on this Teddy Bridgewater story? Again, this just happened. This was just kind of released like 50 minutes ago. So it's still relatively new. We're still trying to gather some information on this. But to me, why is the school suspending Teddy Bridgewater for a self-imposed deal on some of the money? He asked Northwestern fans to help him cover some team expenses. I mean, that's what every other high school does. They look for donations so they can help pay for things. He just decided to pay it himself. $700 a week $700 a week for Uber rides, $1,300 a week for athletic recovery services, $2,200 a week for pregame meals during the season. There was a recent precedent for the FHSAA punishing programs for players receiving free meals and Uber rides. What are we doing, Florida? Last fall, several players at the first academy were found to have received impermissible benefits, including a free Uber ride. The FHSAA hit the Royals with a 2-year postseason ban and a $36,000 fine as a result. This is Miami Northwestern's second brush with the FHSAA in as many years. Last season, the Bulls were investigated for using an ineligible player, but that investigation was ultimately closed. We need to change some rules down in Florida, man. Not to be confused with Florida, man. But isn't this the same problem that started at the NCAA level that has led to all this chaos in NIL money? What is the problem with a football program paying to help better their football program? I don't understand it. I don't get what the problem is here. What an archaic rule. Getting upset at a school for paying for their players to get rides somewhere, probably because they don't have the funding to do it themselves. How is that a problem? Now, it's different because in California, like, there is NIL. High school kids in California can make money on their name, image, and likeness. That's at any school in California. So maybe to me it's a little bit bizarre. But I can't believe a school is suspending a head coach that's an alumni. An alumni that cares about the program, an alumni that wants the program to do well, who is donating valuable amounts of time. Because whatever he might be getting paid at that school, it's not enough when you start breaking down the time it is to be a high school football coach. And he's getting punished for trying to make his athletes better and let their experience be better at the high school, that the high school is obviously not paying themselves. What's the problem here? Impermissible benefits because you decided to pay for pregame meals for kids? Now, whatever the meals may be, if he's taking them, like if they're doing stuff that Louisville basketball is doing, I can understand why you'd be upset. I don't understand why Teddy Bridgewater is getting suspended for being a high school football coach because he's paying for pregame meals and he's paying for these kids to get rides places and he's paying for athletic recovery services. I mean, these are all things that programs pay for anyway, but the fact that he's paying it makes it worse. I don't understand. I don't know what I'm missing here. I can't believe this story that just came down. At the beginning, I was like, what, is he paying these guys like $14,000? When I looked at the first article first time through. But reading it through, it's like, are we saying that this high school is getting all these kids because they're getting free meals? No, the Miami Northwestern is probably getting players because, I don't know, Teddy Bridgewater's the head coach. About Miami Northwestern, expectations are high for the Bulls this season. Starting quarterback Leon Strouder returns, maybe pushed by incoming 2028 transfer Neiman Lawrence, 5-star Syracuse commit Calvin Russell, an FAU pledge. Nick St. Joseph will challenge every secondary on the schedule. I mean, list all the players. They got a lot of good players. Northwestern Miami this season ranked 4th in Florida according to the Massey rankings. And they're going to play Orange Lutheran. Game 1 on August 23rd. We all know about Orange Lutheran out here. But a high school football coach paying for the betterment of his athletes in terms of recovery, pregame meals, rides to places. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe I'm missing something here. What a joke of a suspension. This is why some of these pro athletes don't come out and coach. You want these guys coaching the youth. Stupid. When we come back, we're going to talk about a high school kid that's now potentially going to be a San Diego Padre. We're going to meet Cruz Schoolcraft and what he said at the media. When we come back, Braden Surprenant Show rolls on. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Those numbers are as of 2022.
Okay. What'd you say the median household income was? 40-something thousand?
44
I don't know why
why
they didn't make this the college football song last year. Needed to. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're on right now. What's the
We only got two hands here, Bo.
It's the echo. It's the echo because the camera got shut down. Anyway. To recap, let me fix the mic. To recap the Teddy Bridgewater story. So he's paying all his money for these kids to succeed, right? And in one of them, I don't know if you heard me, like I mentioned before, he has to pay like $300 a week for the field to get painted. Why isn't the school paying for that?
That's disgusting.
And I look at, and again, this guy, Teddy Bridgewater, went to this high school, Miami Northwestern High School. He is the head football coach at Miami Northwestern. He has gotten suspended from the school for pay. Now, this is something that's not, I mean, the schools probably follow the rules that they've been instructed to do so by their governing body for high school athletics, which is like CIF. And obviously, they don't want him doing this. I don't know what the difference is between him as an alumni donating money for these things being different than him being the head coach doing the exact same thing. But anyway, Teddy Bridgewater's been suspended from being a high school football coach at Miami Northwestern High School because he has paid for Uber rides for his players. He has paid for the field to get painted. He has paid for pregame meals. He has paid for a lot of things to help the betterment of his team and the betterment of his community. I mean, we're talking about a community. We looked it up. The median household income of the neighborhood in which the school is located in Miami, that Teddy Bridgewater is at, is $44,000. The median income in general is, for an individual, is $28,000. This guy is doing whatever it takes to try to help his players out. It's not an unfair advantage if he's trying to help out the school. What's the difference? I don't think it's out of the realm of his scope. I think as a high school football coach, as a head coach, you were trying to help out these young men in their life more than just winning football games. That's what it's about. And the sport of football teaches you a lot of different things. It teaches you a lot of different things about life. He is trying to improve the lives of a lot of young men, and he's getting punished for it. It's utterly ridiculous. It is absurd that this is a punishable act. And it reminds me of some things that CIF did when I was in high school that has led me to believe there's no good deed that is left unpunished. No good deed that's left unpunished. This is what we're drawing the line on. This. Teddy Bridgewater paying for his football team that he coaches to eat before a game. That's where the line's drawn. Can't do that. He's getting suspended for spending his own money on painting lines on the field. That's where we draw the line. I mean, think about all the things that go on in high school athletics and college athletics that you just let get brushed under the rug. But God forbid, Teddy Bridgewater decides to make sure his players have a ride to practice or a game, make sure they're fed, and giving them some type of recovery. All he's doing is giving his players an opportunity to get what other schools can pay for because they come from better areas in Miami. We want to talk about competitive advantages. I mean, having a school that has that all covered is a competitive advantage. He's evening the playing field for his school. That's what we're shutting down. I don't understand. I don't get it. He's giving his players an opportunity. Stupid. What are we doing, Florida? You want more, and I don't know all the details. So maybe he's, if he's paying for kids to go play for him, that's a different story. But if he's improving their lives and making them better by giving them the resources that they need to be high level athletes that you see at a lot of schools in better areas, I don't see what the problem is here. I don't know why they're trying to hamper him from doing that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. You need more coaches like Teddy Bridgewater, at least from the information that we've been given so far in this story. Am I missing something here, Frank? Or is
no, it's ridiculous. It really is. It's insane. And like we said during the break, when you hear things like that, when he's paying for paint on the field, that's the school being neglectful at that point. So why would they're going to suspend him for doing what they should be doing.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
And it thinks about
it was his high school.
It was, JP Moore. Does Teddy Britt, he went there. And he's been donating money since he was an alumni for the last couple of years, and now he's the coach. But now since he's the coach, he can't give the money anymore? Makes no sense. This reminds me of some of the problems that we have in the South Bay with the rides. I don't know how many times I've seen an article by John Maffei on which a team that I've seen take the buses to a game, if you're Hilltop or whatever like that, and all of a sudden the game runs late, and the district down there doesn't want to spend the money for these guys to work overtime or whatever it is, and all of a sudden the buses leave, and now the Hilltop Lancers are stuck at whatever school they played at, trying to find rides for their kids. It's unacceptable. I mean, you look at Castle Park. I saw this. I think it was last year. Castle Park had been neglected for a brand new football stadium, and their student body wrote the petition and got everything done to get a brand new stadium. Something that has been touched since probably John Fox went there. They finally got their new facilities. It amazes me how bad some of the school districts are in taking money from the kids that actually need the resources that they're trying to help the youth. I don't get it. But you'll see it. You'll see it again in the South Bay. They'll just be like, oh, well, our game ran late, so now we're not going to have rides home for our football team at 11 o'clock at night. They're going to be on their own to get a ride home. Stupid. I remember that article 2 years ago. I couldn't believe it. But the thing is, Drew Westling, head football coach at Mount Carmel, he used to coach at Hilltop. I mean, when I interviewed him before he took that, when he was at Hilltop, and he said, you just don't know what you don't know. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I coach at my alma mater. It's a way higher resources than a lot of other schools. We don't have to worry about some of those things. But I couldn't imagine being a high school football coach and going, we got to get this game over with, otherwise our buses are going to leave us. It's ridiculous. You'll see it. You'll see it. There'll be something shady about some districts here on some dumb things, and the only ones that get hurt by it are the kids, and it's a joke. It's a joke.
And we looked up what the school looks like. It's in an area that honestly it looks like Montgomery or Mar Vista.
Yeah.
It's not a ritzy area. It's just a normal, regular, everyday area. that school is in. So it's not like these parents are rolling in money and Bridgewater's doing extra. In some cases that there's a real likelihood in some cases that the food that Bridgewater's paying for is the only food that kid's getting that day.
Yeah, possibly. But that's where we're gonna suspend them. I mean, I saw the same thing with CIF, where, because and again, it's not just Miami. I mean, I see it here all the time, where it doesn't make any sense. We had a kid at Cathedral one year that he was from Samoa, and his mom lived in Samoa, and something bad happened to his mom in Samoa, so he left, and then he came back his senior year, and CIF said he couldn't play. But then there was different rules for different schools, for different kids. I mean, that kid deserved to be able to play his senior year. Something bad happened to his mom in American Samoa, and he had to go back and live with her and get everything in order and then come back, and then, yeah. Dumb. Yes, we're going to talk about the draft, Big Chop. Relax. We'll get to it in just a little bit. Here's a little recap on what the Padres have done with the draft today. Draft is over for today, right? They got one more day of this?
Yeah, the draft is over for today. I'm not writing all 25 rounds down. That's not happening. But
we'll keep you updated on the next couple of picks here. So, yesterday, the Padres had 2 draft picks. They drafted Cruz Schoolcraft, who looks pretty good. Schoolcraft out of Sunset High School in Portland, Oregon, 18 years old, 6'8", 229 pounds. He was number 19 in MLB Pipeline's draft prospects. Threw 40 innings last year at a 0.53 ERA, 82 strikeouts with a 1657 OPS and 10 homers at the plate. Two-way guy. Now, that being said, it sounds like the Padres want him to be and focus on being a pitcher. The fastest way for him to get to the big leagues is being a pitcher. Left-handed pitcher, he's topped off at 97 already as a high school kid, which is very, very impressive, by the way. I mean, most kids in college are throwing like low 90s near the end of their college career. There's not a lot of guys touching 97. So he's already touching 97. Again, with his frame, he's huge. He becomes the 9th consecutive high schooler picked in the first round by the Padres. Good pick. Padres did not have a second-round pick, and in the third round, they drafted outfielder Ryan Weidman with the 99th pick overall in the MLB draft. He's 21 out of Western Kentucky. He's a Hilltopper. First D1 hitter with 35 extra base hits and 45 steals in a season since 2001. He was born in Spain while his dad was playing pro basketball back in the day. But Weidman, 99th pick in the MLB draft, he was pick number 2 for the Padres, third-round pick as part of the draft yesterday. Today, Padres had drafted, we're going to get you the rest of the top 10 rounds. They drafted Michael Salina out of St. Bonaventure. He's a right-handed pitcher. They drafted a catcher, Ty Harvey out of Inspiration Academy in Florida. They drafted another right-handed pitcher in Jackson Delina out of Shippensburg University, Pennsylvania. That's a place? Shippensburg. That's a place. Not a place like Stick City, but it's a place. Third baseman Carrington Cross was drafted in the 7th round by the Padres out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Jamie Hitt, left-handed pitcher in the 8th round out of Oklahoma. Will Koger out of Arizona State, right-handed pitcher in the 9th round. And they drafted USD Torero, former USD Torero, and NC State Wolfpack participant, Justin DeCrisio, shortstop. I know a little thing or two about Justin DeCrisio, covering him for a couple of years. He's an Orange Lutheran kid. We'll talk about the Padres draft picks and hear from Cruz Schoolcraft when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show on San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. All right, 12:39 on a Monday in the afternoon now, noon lunchtime hour on 96.7 through the fan means a couple of things. One, we give Frank a foul for not going to Craft Taco. And two, we usually play our midday sports standoff. We've already given Frank the foul.
And we have yet to play the standoff.
Correct. If you call in and you can take me down to some sports trivia, you will be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Park MGM Las Vegas, 2 tickets to Motley Crue on September 19th, and a $100 gas card. Catch Motley Crue's Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM September 12th through October 3rd. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. We're going to hear from Padres' first-round draft pick, Cruz Schoolcraft, in just a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about the top 10 picks for the San Diego Padres. And at the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by Sam Levitt joining us on the Braden Surprenant Show. We'll talk all about that in the next couple of segments or so. But we do need a contestant for our midday sports standoff. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We'll also dive into the minor league focus. Today, it's going to be AAA El Paso. We'll give you an update on what's going on down in AAA. And then we'll talk about AA tomorrow, Single A, and go out throughout the week. Frank's going to screen up one of those contestants, and we're going to talk a little bit about Schoolcraft. Now, here's the thing with Schoolcraft. Schoolcraft was very high on the Padres board. Very high on the Padres board. I think the Padres would even consider him to be one of their probably leader on the board. Now, what happened with Schoolcraft and why he dropped so much of the draft? Because the Padres had him as like a top 5 pick. And they grabbed him in the 25th pick in the draft. So I think from that standpoint, it's already a steal for the Padres. But the big reason is Schoolcraft was telling people that he was going to go to college. He was going to go to Tennessee. That's why Vitello was kind of sweating when the Padres drafted Schoolcraft yesterday. I think that's a big pickup for San Diego. So left-handed pitcher, he's a two-way guy. It sounds like he's going to focus on pitching here in the Padres organization. High velo. Topping off at 97 already as an 18-year-old kid. With his frame at 6'8", I would imagine to be able to up his velo a little bit. He met with the media yesterday. Now, as a high school kid, it's not going to have too many great sound bites, but we are going to hear from him here as we look at his first of all, his reaction to getting drafted last night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a great honor. I think something that my family and I have been working at for a long time, and it's kind of just the start of a new chapter. So I'm excited to get after it.
Guy's 6'8". He looks very imposing on the mound at 6'8". I mean, that's a gigantic human being. Somebody asked him about his family link to his height. Is it in his family?
My dad played base 1 year at Edmonds Community College up in Washington, and then my mom played basketball at University of Idaho. So I feel like I get all the hype from my mom's side just because they're tall. My great uncles are 6'8" and 6'7".
Those are gigantic human beings. 6'8", 6'7". Are you kidding me? So tall. Yeah, if your mom's that tall and all her brothers are that tall, he's probably going to be that tall. Now, the big question, of course, he's a two-way guy. We've already kind of answered it, but the plans for him in terms of being a hitter and pitcher.
We'll see. I think that obviously I want to hit as long as I can, but I want to be a big leaguer as long as I can and as fast as I can. So whatever I could do to get there, that's the path I'll take.
And the Padres said that the fastest thing for him to get to the big leagues is him being a pitcher. Last thing. What clicked in his high school season? First round draft pick Cruz Schoolcraft of the San Diego Padres meeting with the media yesterday.
I mean, I would say it's more of the mental side that I kind of, I guess, learned. I think that was probably the main thing that helped me battling through adversity and having, some pressure on you. So just obviously too, also just playing for my teammates and trying to win a state championship. So I think those were the main things that clicked for me my last season.
First round draft pick for the San Diego Padres, Cruz Schoolcraft. Be interesting to see how he develops. Obviously, the Padres got to get him signed. I'm sure he could get some good NIL money with the University of Tennessee. Vitello was even mentioned that yesterday. Tony Vitello, who's the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, when mentioned that he lost them, he's like, "Oh, he hasn't signed yet." That was literally the first day. So over the Padres get Schoolcraft signed and get him with the Padres organization as quickly as possible. It is time to get to the midday sports standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
It's no good. Are you kidding me, Miss?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The midday sports standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
Today we have Terry calling in from Mission Valley. Terry, how you doing today?
Hey, pretty good. Love your show.
All righty. Thank you very much. So today, home run derby tonight. Now, there haven't been too many San Diego Padre additions to the home run derby. There have been 5 of them, as a matter of fact. Can you name the 5 Padres that have participated in the home run derby? Terry, you have first crack.
I remember Will Myers in 2016.
Will Myers in 2016. That is the most recent.
Where you got hit by a pitch by his brother?
I believe so, yes.
Yep. I was at that particular home run derby working for the video board at the time.
There you go.
I also remember in my lifetime Adrian Gonzalez not getting a lot of home runs in the home run derby, representing the Padres.
2009, Adrian Gonzalez. 3 more, and you got the 2 most recent.
About Ken Caminiti. I think he did it.
Good guess, but no, Ken Caminiti did not compete in the home run derby.
Home run derbies at all-star games usually have members of the local team hosting. Before the 2016 All-Star game was the 1992 All-Star game, in which the Padres had 2 participants. One of them was the crime dog, Fred McGriff.
Correct. Terry.
Let me think. Thinking about. Can't think of any. Can't think of any.
Throw out a Padre from 1992. You might get it right.
I know, 92. Dave Winfield.
No, Dave Winfield did not. Braden, you can clinch a win if you get it right here.
The other 1992 San Diego Padre in the home run derby was Gary Sheffield.
Yes, it was Gary Sheffield. So that will clinch the win for Braden. Thank you very much for playing, Terry. Got the last one?
It's probably something like, what year is it?
1985.
85. Well, the only guy that sticks out to me in home runs and around that time was Steve Garvey. Did he participate in the home run derby? Wow.
He was the first Padre to do so. And the Padres, by the way, one of 12 teams that have not won the Derby.
There are 12 teams that have never won the Derby?
There are 12 teams who have had one of their players not win the home run derby. Padres are one of them.
That is a dumb trivia question if you know the answers to those. Is that tomorrow's trivia question? Well, we can't do it now because now people will prepare for it.
No, we have
let me see if
we have trivia questions with a lot of answers coming up the next 2 days. But they should be all easy answers.
Home run derbies tonight.
Yes.
Dude, I've been so out of like how into the All-Star week are you right now as a baseball fan that you are?
I'm going to be going home and playing college football before I jump onto an iRacing race.
The answer is no.
Yeah,
okay.
Not at all.
I want to watch the Padres players get introduced on the foul line, and that's basically it.
Well, there you go.
I might tune in a little bit on the Derby. I'd be a little bit more interested if like a Padres player was in it, but at the same time, when you're competing, like you don't want him to screw up his swing.
Yeah.
As we've seen a lot of people
Fernando
do.
turned it down, I think, because of that reason.
Yeah, he said his oblique wasn't feeling that great. I couldn't even name you the 8 guys that are in the Derby.
I can't. They're on the sheet.
Oh, you put them on the sheet? Let's see what we got here.
It's interesting. It's not 4-4 like I thought it would be. It's 5 from the American League, 3 from the National League.
At this point, they're just trying to get people to participate in it.
True.
No Pete Alonso?
Nope.
He didn't want to do it?
He turned it down.
He was so lame doing the. I mean, he's like doing the deadlifts. I mean, he probably doesn't want to get ridiculed by the Mets for being more into the home run derby than winning playoff games. Home run derby tonight: O'Neill Cruz, Matt Olson, James Wood, Brent Rooker. We got a lot of Padres on this list. Byron Buxton, Junior Caminero, Cal Raleigh, Jazz Chisholm Jr. I'm surprised Cal Raleigh's doing it.
Yeah, for that reason of messing his swing up.
He's got a contract extension now, not messing up his swing. Like usually it's young players that didn't get their big contract yet, right? So like James Wood, because if you win, you get a big cash prize that's more than league minimum. So like James Wood can make a ton of money. Brent Rooker's got a deal already. I don't know why he would do it. Matt Olson's got a deal. You know, maybe it's just like a once in a lifetime. I guess if you're Matt Olson right now and you're 10 games under 500, now's as good time as ever
something
to
to
go
do.
swing.
Yeah.
Like O'Neill Cruz doesn't have his deal yet. Byron Buxton, a guy gets hurt a lot. I'm surprised he's doing it.
Like these are not guys like Byron Buxton and Jazz Chisholm. These are guys that I don't see as home run hitters.
You know, maybe at 115 when we're going to talk about the Derby, you can give me the 8 players that you would want to see in an actual home run derby.
That'll do.
I think that's, you know, and here's the problem. It's with the All-Star games. Nobody wants to get hurt and everything. And these guys are making a ton of money. They don't need to play. They don't need to participate. I mean, you were having a heated debate with Woods and Paul coming in about, what's his name? Mizorowski making the All-Star game. If 12 guys turned it down in front of him, I mean, at this point, it's like, okay, well, who else are you going to pick?
Well, and again, but a lot of those guys were pitching over the weekend. That's kind of the thing, and that's part of the problem, and that goes with the NHL and NBA as well.
We're going to discuss that at the 1 o'clock
hour.
Yeah,
having an All-Star game mid-season.
But again, like, it's to a point where, you know, in a couple of years, like we talked to Jason Adam, like he's stoked to be there, right? And I think a lot of these guys like being there. I think it's a great honor, but then the game itself is, once they got rid of the home field advantage thing, the level of play has been
there's
down.
no
incentive
spice to it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no heat to it. I mean, if you want to take the week off to get the All-Star treatment and to do all of that stuff and to have a showcase for the All-Stars, great. At this point, it's like this goes in any sport. Why are we playing a game at this point? The players don't care. They don't try. What's the point in playing the game anymore if the only thing that these guys are going to get excited about is the festivities around the All-Star week?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you need a center point on a game, and I don't want them to do like a bunch of stupid things. I want to see them play at a high level. But the only way you're going to do that is basically the World Baseball Classic. That's why I'm not opposed to every 4 years you do the World Baseball Classic for 2 weeks in July. You can get a tournament done in 2 weeks in July.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's fair. If you really wanted to, you could do 3 weeks, and then you can have other games being played that don't count with the other MLB teams. Because the problem with the 2 or 3 weeks in the middle of the season is, you know, you miss out in prime summer months, ticket venues. But what you do is in the World Baseball Classic is you have them play at every Major League Baseball stadium should be hosting a game.
Yeah.
Or different pools or something like that. So at least you're getting some money at some of these places. But, you know, it always comes down to money. I just think if they could try to replicate what the Frozen
NHL did,
what if the NHL did?
The
It'd
Four
be
Nations.
Four Nations face off. I mean, the thing is what made the Four Nations face off so good?
It was the first time.
Best in the world competing at the highest level. That's what people want to see.
And it was the first time in about 7 or 8 years that the NHL, the hockey players, had gotten a chance to play for their country. So they took it and ran with it.
You get a lot more feel for that than playing for your league that you have to be in. When we come back, Sam Levitt will join us to help recap the first half of the MLB season. See what he's doing with his time off this week. Final hour of the Braden Surprenant Show on a Monday. All-Star week this week. 5 Padres in the All-Star game. 3 of the 4 Horsemen have made it. Jason Adam, Adrian Morejon, Robert Suarez, of course, Manny Machado starting in the All-Star game, as voted on by all you fans out there to represent the National League at third base. And Fernando Tatis Jr. making the All-Star team as well. Should be a fun couple of days for them and their families in Atlanta. Tonight is the Home Run Derby, as we talked about a little bit ago, Frank and I. The list of Home Run Derby contestants and who we would like to see are drastically different. But we digress on that. During this week, the ceremonial end of the first half, even though the Padres have already played more than half their games, more than half their games already, it is time to bring in, since, he finally gets 4 days off in a row. And you know what Frank does? He's like, you know what? Do you mind just jumping on the show with us? And the poor guy has been working his ass off since February.
I
Frank.
asked him on Friday if he wanted to. He said, I'm going to New York. Let me see. And he texted me literally at 11 o'clock this morning saying, yeah, I'm good if you want to go. Like,
all right.
Okay, fine then.
We would like to thank Sam Levitt, the pre- and post-game host of the San Diego Padres and our good friend, for taking the time to join us on his 4 days off here on the Monday. Sam, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Yeah, happy to join you. No problem. Don't have anything else to do during this little baseball break, or at least break from Padres baseball. So, yes, greetings from the East Coast. Took a red-eye last night and spending a few days seeing the parents and just spending a few quieter days back east. So happy to join you.
Well, we asked Sam. We asked a lot of we get a lot of San Diegans from other teams on our show, and we always ask them what's the first thing that they got to eat when they get home.
Yeah.
What is for you when you go back to New York or whatever town individually that you're from? What are the things that you have to do to just feel like you're at home?
I would say from a food standpoint, I think the bagel is definitely number one, because I do think, and this is no disrespect to any of our local bagel places in San Diego, but this is something that's consistent across the country. I mean, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like the bagels here in New York. Now, as far as pizza, that's the other one that is exceptional here. But I'm always of the opinion that you can find good pizza in a lot of places, and there's so much different variety of pizza. I think it's much easier to find quote unquote good pizza, even if it isn't classic New York style pizzeria pizza. However, when it comes to bagels, there's nothing that matches it. There's just not. I mean, I've lived in a lot of different places. I was in the Midwest. I was in Texas. I was in Michigan, California now for 3+ years. And I will definitely say on the bagel front, there is nothing that matches it. So to me, you got to take advantage of that. So my dad did a good job. He got me a couple of bagels yesterday that I could enjoy today and have ready to go. So did that, and that's my thing. The bagel is the thing that is just one of a kind here on the East Coast, in my opinion.
Well, I got to ask you now, since we're on the bagel subject, and we'll get to Padres baseball in a second. What is the bagel? What is the Sam Levitt bagel like? I mean, what are we putting schmear on there? Some cream cheese?
Yeah.
Do you go with the bacon, egg, and cheese? What type of actual bagel do you get? What's
Sure,
Sam Levitt's choice of bagel here?
Yeah, so I mean, I do like a bacon, egg, and cheese for sure. I am actually not a huge cream cheese guy at all, which surprises people. But I am not a huge cream cheese guy at all. If I do get cream cheese, I ask for it a little tiny bit, and it's got to be like an olive cream cheese or like something in it. But I ask for literally just the thinnest of layers on there. So yeah, I mean, like a little cream cheese, maybe toasted with butter. As far as type of bagel, I'll tell you what my go-to is. My go-to, and again, this is like a one-of-a-kind East Coast thing, because you don't see this in a lot of other places. My go-to is an egg bagel. Like, I love a good egg bagel. And I'm not saying bagel with an egg. I'm saying an egg bagel, which is slightly yellower in color and somehow is kind of It's actually a really good point. I don't even know why it's called an egg bagel, other than the color is slightly more to the yellow side of things. But it's really good. I'll get an everything bagel. I'll get a raisin bagel even. But I would say egg bagel, really little bit of olive cream cheese probably is my go-to.
That's the Sam Levitt bagel of choice. Well, we love to hear it. We're joined by Padres pre- and post-game host Sam Levitt. Let's talk a little bit about the first half of the season. I mean, I asked the question to a lot of fans about how they're feeling with the first half of the season for the San Diego Padres. You get to watch them every single day up close behind the scenes. How would you evaluate the ceremonial first half of the Padres season?
I think all things considered, it was a very good first half. I mean, I think you have to put it in the context of all the different things they dealt with. Obviously, having two major pitching injuries to Darvish and King, and being without those guys for a good amount of time, in Darvish's case up until the last week or so, in King's case the last couple of months. I mean, I think right off the bat, that was always going to present a huge challenge. And I think when you couple in some of their offensive issues, both with guys like Fernando and Merrill struggling as badly as they did for extended periods of time, and obviously the issues they've had towards the bottom of the lineup, the fact that they wake up this morning in the All-Star break in a playoff spot, and no doubt in a better position than where they were a year ago. I mean, I know it was not, at times a super aesthetically pleasing first half, and it's never going to look like that when you're just not scoring very much. But I think all things considered, when you wake up and you consider they're holding that final wild card spot today, and you consider the offensive troubles, you consider the injuries in the rotation, some of the guys they had to rely on for extended stretches here, I do believe it's a successful first half. I do, even if it felt frustrating and very up and down throughout the course of it. But you wake up this morning in a playoff spot despite all those things.
I thought the first half was successful. I feel good as a Padres fan to watch this team, especially over the weekend after they took 2 out of 3 from the Philadelphia Phillies. A couple of players, most notably, that were in massive slumps. I mean, Xander Bogaerts at the beginning of the season, everybody wanted to trade away. And right now he's got better numbers and a better WAR than Mookie Betts, who he's making not as much money as Mookie Betts. How has Xander been able to turn it around? And do you think his last couple of weeks can lead into a second half?
Well, you certainly hope so. I mean, I think the interesting part about Xander's season, and Mike Schilt talked about this, a few weeks ago at this point, maybe even a month ago, was that Xander had been hitting the ball hard really all year and had not had a lot of batted ball luck, and the overall numbers were not what the expected numbers were. And I think there's been a little bit of stabilization in those numbers catching up to what his actual numbers are now, because he has hit the ball pretty hard all year, and it just feels like it's finding more holes now. It feels like it's more productive now. And you look at the last 40-something games, I mean, the numbers are really, really solid. He's in the midst of a nice stretch here, one of his better stretches as a San Diego Padres. So I'm hopeful with Xander that he can continue it. I think they need him to do that if they ultimately want to go where we think they can go. So you're right. Look, from a defensive standpoint also, Braden, he's been really good. I mean, really, really solid. And that's quite an accomplishment, considering he was playing second base last year and moved back to shortstop late in the year when Kim got hurt, and has really done a nice job there. And that's why I would assume, without digging too far into it, that's part of the reason why the WAR number is as high as it is. So I think on both ends, he's done a really nice job as of late, and you certainly hope it can continue. The Padres, if they get that kind of production from Xander, it makes their team that much better. So I'm hopeful. Look, I've always been a Xander fan. I think he works really hard. I think he brings intangibles. I think he's won a couple of World Series. There's a lot of good that I believe Xander Bogaerts can bring this team, both on the field and from just a personality standpoint. I've been a fan. I continue to root for him, and it's been nice to see him have some success as of late, and I hope it continues.
We're talking with Padres pre- and post-game host Sam Levitt on the Braden Surprenant show. He's taking a little bit of a break out in New York right now, but still giving us filled in on what's going on in Padres land. We approached trade deadline. Dennis Lynn had an article last night. I don't know if you're able to take a look at it or not, taking the red eye, but a couple of things stood out to me. And one of them being, don't be surprised that the Padres lineup on July 28th has a couple of new faces. Now, July 28th is significant because it's still a couple of days away from the trade deadline. It sounds like AJ Preller, as soon as the draft ends, is going to be looking to pull the trigger on some moves, prior to the wee hours of the final minutes, or should I say, of the MLB trade deadline. How active do you think AJ Preller might be at this year's trade deadline for the San Diego Padres? What have you been hearing around the press box?
Well, I think history would tell us he's going to be very active, right? I mean, has there been a season where the Padres have been in the mix where he has not been active? I mean, I even think about 2023 when, they were having so much trouble getting things going, and he still went out and made some moves on the margins, right? AJ has a long track record now of when his team is in the mix and when he is a team that certainly looks like it has the ability to, at the very least, grab a playoff spot and go on a run, that he's going to improve. And that improvement may not just come on the margins. I mean, would anybody be surprised if he goes and takes a big swing somewhere and figures it out with a farm system that wasn't that is not in the same place that it was a year ago? I wouldn't. I mean, if he took a big swing and he's, made a big trade for Duran, that kind of guy, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Now, is that the ideal fit for the Padres? I don't know. For this season, I would like somebody that has a lot of power because I think they need that in their lineup. And I think that's also important in a playoff sense. So I don't know that Duran's a great fit for this year, but if you were selling me on an outfield of the next few years of Tatis, Merrill, and Duran and roll out those three, I mean, that's a really good place to start. So to me, that is a bigger type move that says a lot about just the future of your outfield. I still don't quite understand, even with all the smoke around the Padres and Duran. Somebody still needs to explain to me why the Red Sox are trading him. They've won 10 in a row. And they're surging, and I still don't really understand why that would happen right now, even though I know they have a lot of guys to play and they're trying to figure it out. I still don't really understand that, and somebody's got to explain that to me. However, nothing would surprise me. A big swing wouldn't surprise me. I certainly would expect him to add on the margins, or at least, just have other options for some of the spots where they're so badly needed. I mean, obviously catcher is a prime one. It's almost hard to believe that the Padres would continue this catching situation just the way it is for 162. I mean, it's almost impossible to believe that they could get through the trade deadline and not at least address that. But Braden, I think it's all on the table. I do. I think AJ's track record says that. I think they're in a spot record-wise and playoff positioning-wise that says that. So nothing would surprise me. I think at minimum, he's going to do something. How big that something is, I think, is a major question and a major possibility.
Last thing for you, Sam. Let's talk about that catching situation. I mean, obviously, internally, they'd like to find a solution to their problem. It saves them a little bit of money and prospect capital at the trade deadline. They mentioned Corey Lee as a potential, Padres are interested in, the catcher for the Chicago White Sox, or one of, but he only has 28 at-bats this year. He's a 26-year-old from Escondido, California, went to Vista High School before going to play at Cal Berkeley. I mean, you look at the numbers that he has this year, it's relatively the same as Luis Camposano in terms of at-bats. He has 7 hits and Campy's got none. What do you make of the Camposano situation right now for the Padres? I mean, it's just, he's had 20-something, I think 21 at-bats in 4 different stints, and he's not getting consistent at-bats. I don't know what they're really doing with him.
Yeah, Braden, I think two things can be true at once with the Camposano situation. On one hand, what he's being asked to do coming up, every now and then and getting a handful of at-bats, I can't imagine it's a very easy thing to do. It's not easy as far as finding consistency in just at-bats and getting used to major league pitching, even though he's getting plenty of at-bats in the PCL. It's not the same thing as coming up to the major leagues and having that kind of pressure. And look, I have not talked to Campy about this, but look, I would imagine, it's not the easiest thing when you know that you might be an 0 for 4 away from getting sent back down to go out there and perform. And, there may be something to the fact that he does do so well in the PCL, and he comes up here and he's just unable to replicate it. So I think we have to acknowledge what he has been asked to do this year in particular is a very difficult thing. And I do have some sympathy for Luis in that sense. I think it's a very difficult thing to do, what he's being asked to do, and within the context of his history with the Padres. At the same time, look, this is not a situation where, the Padres have never given Campy an opportunity to win this job. I mean, he had almost 300 at bats last year. It was his job at the start of the year, and Higgy took it over, A, because he was playing so well, and B, because Campy wasn't. And look, I think there's something in there with Campy. I thought 2023 proved that, obviously, from a defensive standpoint, from a working with the pitching staff standpoint. If we're just being honest, just reading the tea leaves of how he's been used, it appears, they would rather go with other options in that sense, even if they're not giving you any offense or have at least the offensive potential that I think Campusano has if he has regular playing time. It's a tough situation. It is. And I still, put it this way, we're almost 100 games into the season. And I just feel like, I know Kevin wrote that this morning about maybe you'd see Campy get more at bats consistently after the break. And maybe that's true. I don't know if that's going to come behind the plate, but for us to be 100 games in and them not turn to Campy on a more regular basis as a catcher, I would have a hard time seeing that now 100 games in if they all of a sudden would flip that switch. So it's a unique situation. I think Campy's got potential in there. I just, I don't know how much more opportunity that will come with the Padres, or if they view Campy as a solution for this year. Now, if he comes back up, well, he's up right now, but if he gets at bats after the break and he produces, hey, Braden, if he hits, he's going to be in the lineup. I think there's no doubt about that, but obviously to this point, it hasn't happened here. But again, I just put it in the context of being asked to do a really difficult thing this year in particular. So it's a pretty unique and interesting situation, and I'm interested to see how it ultimately plays out with the Padres and Campy.
Sam, I appreciate the time, man. Enjoy these next couple of days off. Looking forward to seeing you back in San Diego, and have a good time with your family.
All right, guys, you got it. Enjoy. We'll talk to you on Friday.
Sam Levitt, Padres pre- and post-game host. A couple of days off here coming up. We appreciate his time, kind of recapping the first half of the MLB season. The catching situation for the Padres is fascinating. It's fascinating. I'll be curious to see what they do at the beginning part of the second half. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in AAA. We're going to give you our picks that we would have for the Home Run Derby and get you ready for, I guess, the Home Run Derby. Gwen and Chris are coming up at 2 o'clock as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 123. Home run derbies tonight, huh? Anybody going to tune into that? I might throw it on. I guess it's a no from Frank.
No, I could care less.
Have you ever been into the home run derby?
Yeah, when I was younger, of course.
When I was a child.
When you're watching Sammy Sosa hit 500-foot bombs in Milwaukee, yeah, I was really into that.
Yeah, hey, you know what? It's true. I might throw it on. I got 3 softball games tonight. I'm playing at 6. You know, because it's not like my oblique and my legs and everything else in my body is already torched. I got a game at 6. What time does the derby start? Like 4:30 or something?
5.
All right, so I'll watch a little bit of it and then go over. But I'll be at the Sportsplex tonight at 6 for game 1, and then, dude, I got think about this. I got the no game at 7, no game at 8, and then a game at 9 and a game at 10. It's like, really? Go back to back to back. Back to back. And I knocked my camera off the air again. It's a Monday, right? You know?
Good job, buddy.
Echo time here. Nope, gone. See it. I don't mind the home run derby. I think the way they do it now is a little bit better. You know, it'd be nice to be able to see some of the best compete in it. I mean, not to say the guys that are currently competing in it are not the best, right? I mean, they do have Cal Raleigh in it, but tonight's home run derby participants, why is Jazz Chisholm doing the home run derby?
Got to show off the torpedo bat, dude.
You need to have at least one torpedo bat guy in this?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's actually being interviewed right now by Lauren Shahadi, but Jazz Chisholm doesn't move me on the whole home run derby deal.
No, not at all.
Is he an all-star or is he just a home run derby guy?
No, he's an all-star.
He made the team? Really? He's had a good first half?
I think it's unlike the NBA where you actually have to be an all-star in order to compete in the festivities.
I thought you could compete in the home run derby and not be an all-star.
No, I think that's the thing with
the NBA?
The NBA skills competition.
No. Jazz Chisholm, Cal Raleigh, Junior Caminero, Byron Buxton, James Wood, Brent Rooker, Matt Olson, O'Neal Cruz. I like Cal Raleigh being in there. He's the home run leader. I think Aaron Judge would be fun to watch. I'm surprised that Eugenio Suarez isn't trying to swing it. I think it'd be great watching Kyle Schwarber swing the bat. I'd love to see Fernando participate in this one year, but the problem is the only time you would ever want him to participate in this is the Padres are out of it before for the second half at the deadline, so I hope that's never the case. I'd like to see him do it at least once. I don't want to screw up his swing or anything like that, but I feel like he could pace himself. He's got raw power. I think guys like Ellie De La Cruz, O'Neal Cruz, pretty good to watch. For me, the ideal players for home run derbies are guys that just hit moonshots. You want to see the guys that hit the insane home runs.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like when the Rangers had Nomar Mazara and Joey Gallo. Not high average guys, but when they hit a home run, I mean, that thing was...
Josh Hamilton.
Hammered. Yeah. I mean, guys like that, I think it's more fun to watch than guys like, Pete Crow Armstrong's got a bunch of home runs, but you need to see him in the home run derby. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Brandon El Cajon, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Brandon?
Lost Brandon.
See ya. Will in Oceanside. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing, Braden?
I'm doing well. What do you got for me today?
I just got off work, so I haven't listened to the whole show. But the first thing I heard I heard you say the catcher situation is very interesting. I've had the catcher situation on my mind for a good 2 weeks now, and I'm definitely done with Camposano. I feel like it's time to cut the cord there. And my biggest rationale is I don't want to trade Salas, but I want to have some sort of a bridge for Salas to come, and it's really going to take somebody to mentor him. I know he's got to probably do another year or 2 years in the minors, but I'd really like us to see somebody be able to, us to be able to trade and bring somebody in, because I'm not sure Diaz is the right guy to help him transition to that next level. I feel like we we really want to have like a strong catcher that can kind of prepare him to take over that catcher position down the road, and which could all go to waste if we end up trading them. I'd like to get your thoughts on that if you haven't talked about it already, and I will take your comments off the air.
I appreciate that, Will. I mean, the catching situation obviously is, like I said, it's interesting. I do agree it'd be nice to have, we compared the catching situation to NFL quarterbacks last week. There's not a lot to go around. The ones that can hit and receive and play good defense, those are the ones that are on really good teams. Those are the elite level catchers, and the everybody else is like, you can win with this guy if he's got some supporting cast, or there's catchers that are a detriment to your team offensively. And so when you have catchers that are at that elite level, you got to keep them. And with that being said, as we continue that comparison, a lot of times in the National Football League, quarterbacks that have some sort of veteran above them where they can learn and develop under usually work out for a lot of NFL teams. It's not always the case, but it usually does. And it'd be great to have a guy like Ethan Salas work underneath a veteran catcher that's pretty good. I don't think Elias Diaz is one of those guys. Obviously, Martin Maldonado is barely hanging on to his career right now at his age. But to me, I mean, you look at a guy like Sean Murphy could be able to do that. If you decide to trade for Sean Murphy, you have enough to trade for Sean Murphy. The Braves are even willing to give up Sean Murphy. They like having two catchers on their team. The other one that stands out is like maybe in the offseason, if you could throw money at JT Realmuto, but I don't necessarily know if you have that kind of money or if it's going to be worth the investment at JT Realmuto's age. So you got to be thinking about some of those veteran catchers. Like to see a local product of Corey Lee show up. I think that'd be kind of cool, but that's not somebody that's going to be able to mentor Ethan Salas. He's 26 years old. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get to Brandon El Cajon. Brandon, what's going on, man?
Hey, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Hey, I had an idea that, like I was having a conversation, and I thought, what if you took AJ Preller's draft and think, what if AJ Preller never made a trade, never signed a free agent? What kind of team would the Padres be?
I mean, it's interesting, right, to see like what the Padres would be. They have a pretty solid lineup, right? I mean, they've had some pretty good drafts. You look at it. I mean, you know, you've had some good first round picks. I mean, the Jackson Merrill year, the year in which they got Merrill and James Wood. I mean, those are two all-stars right there in that season. I think they might be the only two all-stars of that draft. I was going through it last night. You look at some of the draft picks AJ Preller's made. He's made some pretty good draft picks. He's never made a trade, though, at the same time. Like, you know, Fernando's not on your team. He's a White Sox. Manny Machado's, you know, maybe he's on your team. You include signings. But again, like, it's, you can look at it from a hindsight perspective. I think the Padres are probably they're probably at the same level they are currently right now. I don't necessarily know if they're better or worse. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Martin and Santee, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, Martin?
Braden, I want to thank you for bringing up Luis Campusano. I heard you earlier today, and then I had an appointment. But, you know, what gets me is, you know, I look at the manager, and it's almost the definition of insanity. You know, doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. And, you know, with Campusano, I was thinking about it, and the idea that he catches how many pitchers have we brought up from El Paso this year? He catches those guys in El Paso, and he comes to the big club, and they put him at DH. They don't let him be a catcher, get his feet wet. And then they're talking about bringing in another catcher that, you know, she'll always talks about how well this group, you know, maintains, watches over the pitchers. It's like this new person, if that's what happens, is going to be at point zero. Campusano, you know, worked with these guys in spring training and worked with all the other AAA players that come up or bounce up and back down. And I just don't understand it. But I just wanted to call and let you know that I appreciate you bringing it up and basically saying, like you, I think you said it earlier, I'm going to kind of quote, but give the guy a chance to catch, get another 100 at-bats, and just see what happens. So, but anyway, I appreciate your take on Campusano. I haven't heard others on the station comment on it. So I just wanted to call and say thank you. And also too, Frank is he's doing a great job. It's a nice, you make a nice duo. So thanks again. Take care, man.
I appreciate that, Martin. Thanks again. Frank, you tell your uncle to call in, or?
Yeah. Thanks, Uncle Martin.
Frank's doing a great job. I mean, the Camposano situation's interesting because they don't trust him to catch. And some pitchers that aren't part of the organization anymore have said they don't like throwing at Camposano. I mean, it's just there's something going on back there. But it's definitely a reason why he's not starting at catcher. His best asset, again, is his bat, and they got to try to utilize that as much as they can. But he hasn't been able to get consistent at-bats. But the only way they're going to get consistent at-bats is if they have him catch every once in a while. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about what's going on down in AAA El Paso, and then we'll get to Bill and Chula Vista. All coming up next on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show on a Monday. Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Thanks again for tuning in to the Braden Surprenant Show. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our page. Give us and subscribe to our personal page at B_SURP. Trying to get those subscriptions up to 500. I think we're at like 250 right now. We're halfway there. We're trying to do it before the end of the season. If you haven't done so already, there is in the description below links to every social media page we have, basically. The first one is our personal show YouTube page, which I will be posting a softball video later on this afternoon. Our OTL videos are going to get posted there as well. And we got a lot of them. We got a lot from Over the Line that we're going to have. In the description below on YouTube, there's a link to it. If you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening on the radio, you can do it on your phone. YouTube.com/@B_SURP. You will find us. You can subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It helps us out. Give us a like on the YouTube page today, on the YouTube video. It helps us out. We appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, follow us on social media. All of our social media accounts are listed below. Except for my TikTok. But you know what? That's for younger people anyway, I guess. We don't get any, I get zero traction on TikTok for any of the same videos that I post. Instagram, Reels, YouTube, Shorts, money. TikTok videos, terrible. I'm not a big TikTok guy in general. But anyway, my social media pages are on there on the description. At B_SURP on X, at BSURP Show, B_SURP Show on X as well. FMarks324 on X, and then you can follow all of us on Instagram as well. Same handles for me and Frank Marchese. 97 through the fan, you can follow us. Be sure to do that. Oh, look, my TikTok is on there. Did you do that?
It's been on there.
Oh. All right. Well, follow me on TikTok then. Anyway. We get back to your phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Since we're at the halfway mark of the season, we'll update you on some minor leagues this week. Today is AAA El Paso. Tomorrow is AA San Antonio, and we will have a guest for tomorrow, as well as later on in the week. Trying to get a big guest on Friday. We'll keep you updated if we can. Let's get out to Bill in Chula Vista. Bill, you're on the Braden Surprenant Show. What's going on, man?
Hello. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
I just had a couple comments and observations. I've been a fan for 50 years for the Padres. You know, I'm one of those faithful guys that go in and out. But I have three questions. So the first statement is that the bottom of the fourth, fifth, and sixth, I hear this all over where I'm sitting. Oh, here comes the inning, the deadly innings. You know, we know what's going to happen at those innings. What's your take on that? You know, the bottom of the fourth, fifth, and sixth inning seems to be our Achilles heel. One. The second question was that maybe I'm wrong, but we take the pitchers out too late when we're behind 4 or 5 runs in the fourth or fifth inning. I don't understand that mentality at all, you know, and it's almost predictable of what's going to happen. So that was another thing. And the other thing, I appreciate you being very honest and truthful on things. But for me, the only data that counts is the winning and losing column. Nobody gives a shit about,
Come on, man. All right. Foul.
He draws the foul.
Foul. Bang. See ya. All right, Bill. Well, you were good until you said one of the words that George Carlin told us all not to say on the radio or on the airwaves. Okay. Let me try to backtrack that. So he asked what my opinion was on the fourth, fifth, and sixth inning. Are the Padres statistically awful in those innings? Frank, is there anything on there? I mean,
it's
middle innings.
Typically, it feels that way because it's towards the end of the starter's run, and there's usually trouble abound when it comes to that. So I could see
the Padres
why
have had some comebacks.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't look too far into that. The other question was Oh, he asked about. He thinks the Padres take guys out too late.
Yes.
I feel like they've been taking them out early, right? I mean, how many times have we heard other shows complain about taking Vasquez out too early?
Yeah, especially Vasquez. He's really been the one.
Right. I don't think they take him out too late. I think they've been a little extra cautious with some of the fifth starters. Ryan Bergerts of the world, Stephen Kolix, unless he's throwing a shutty. The Randy Vasquez's. I think we've been okay there as well. What was the last? Did he even get to the last thing?
Nope.
Okay. He was good until, he fouled out. That's a flagrant too. Out.
One more of those, we get an Eric Hosmer cameo.
Isaac in the chat. What was George Carlin's word? Come on. Go look it up.
Bleep, 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 and bleep.
Yes. I do have it. Somebody's asking about one of the shirts. I'm out of pink ones. I got blue show shirts, and I got brown and gold ones coming in. And once they come in, you could go ahead and any of those accounts down below, if you follow and subscribe, send me a DM, and I can find a way to get you the shirt. I do have to ship some off. Joe in New Jersey wants some. So I have to ship some to Joe in New Jersey. I got my friends in Texas that want some and everything like that. But if you're local, it'd be better if you came and picked it up at the radio station.
I want to make sure it's said right. DM Braden for the shirts.
DM F Marks 324 for the shirts. DM the Braden Surprenant
them
for the shirts.
I don't have the shirts. Braden has the shirts.
I got a funny story about the shirts from yesterday, but let's get to Grady in DC. Grady, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? Love the show. Love Frank. Good effort. Out in DC, watching the YouTubes. I was bringing up a point where you're talking about catchers and bringing Campy up. I watched listened to the Divine Sports Gospel, two guys that from SD and they live in SF, two brothers. But they jokingly brought up a point, and I kind of stuck with me. Why don't we trade for Higgy and bring Higgy back? Have the Rangers kind of pay off a little of his contract. He was signed a big contract to get out there, was trying to be the guy. Wasn't really living up to expectations. I feel like San Diego opened him up with open arms. He knows, most of our pitchers. He knows the guys. Him and Campy can kind of do a little 1-2. Diaz and Maldonado can maybe AAA, go back and forth. I think Higgy coming in, not expecting to be a star and just kind of being the bat he was. I mean, last year when he got Blink-182's guitar and playing in the locker room, we kind of need that.
All right, going on the vibes thing. DSG's in the chat. So, I mean, I like where your head's at on that, but I just, aside from like the 2 weeks leading into playing the Padres, he was slightly better than Martin Maldonado in terms of offensive production. He had a slightly higher average, but his OPS was awful. His home runs were awful. Honestly, the 1 year that he had in San Diego was good. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Sometimes you got to let players walk because they're not going to match the production you got out of them. I think the Padres got everything they could get out of Kyle Higashioka last year. Just as much as I said the same thing about Gary Sanchez. I think the Padres got everything they could get out of Gary Sanchez when he got DFA'd from the Yankees and they needed a catching position. Trading for Kyle Higashioka at the trade deadline, it's just, you think about the recency bias of him in a Padres uniform, but that'd be kind of a waste of a trade if he came back and didn't do anything with it, right? So Kyle Higashioka's got 4 home runs now on the year. Doesn't have 1 home run. He's got 4 home runs in 241. He's 40 for 166, 0.5 WAR. That is an upgrade as of right now, but again, it's been a little recent of a tear for Kyle Higashioka. AJ Preller's working on some things. I don't see them potentially doing that and having to pay him $5 million next year to be part of the team. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. So yesterday I'm wearing the pink Braden Surprenant Show shirt, Frank. I'm at Vaughn's. I wore it to softball.
Okay.
And the lady working at Vaughn's, one of the ladies working at Vaughn's, very nice. I've probably seen her a couple of times. My local Vaughn's in Script Ranch. She goes, "He's got a shirt now?" And I look, and she was like, and I'm like, "What?" And she was like, "Braden Surprenant, he's got a shirt now?" I'm like, "Well, I was like, yeah, they're made for OTL." She's talking in the past, like, she has no idea that I'm the person.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you got to keep it.
I kept it. Oh yeah,
you gotta keep
absolutely.
it going, yeah.
I kept it going. So she was like, "Well, my brother listens to the show all the time, like whatever," and talking about it. And then I'm like, "Well, do you like the show?" "Yeah, it's not bad. It's okay. I don't mind it. It's a little bit of a change up, like all the stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah." This is like totally in the third, like totally had no idea who she was talking to.
Yeah.
Literally talking to me. I'm sitting there just like, yeah, he's cool. Like, I think it's good. You know, subscribe to the YouTube page.
That former fat guy's a little over the top, but hey.
Yeah, that Frank guy just sucks though. But I don't. She didn't say that. I just thought it was funny. You've had a lot of T-shirts over the weekend. It was good. I know I got a bag full of shirts in my car. I got to get rid of. So if you want one, let me know. You can pick it up here at the station. We're not going to have time to get to the AAA stuff.
No, we're not. That'll be a tomorrow thing. We'll do AAA and AA tomorrow.
No hate on Frank. You know what? I think it takes away all the fouls since he showed up to OTL. No foul tomorrow for you, Frank, anymore. For the OTL thing.
That's very generous of you.
We're going to have Kraft Taco in studio tomorrow. I can't wait. That's going to be great.
It is going to be fantastic. Really going to enjoy that.
You know what? Shout out to Trav Gundy in the YouTube chat. He went to Kraft Taco over the weekend.
Oh boy.
He sent a picture. We're all at OTL. I thought he was going to come to OTL. He went to Kraft Taco. We gotta see how he did. I mean, he's like, mind? Anybody mind? I gotta ask DSG though. When are we doing the jersey swap? I need a VAR shirt. We need VAR shirts, vibes above replacement, in exchange for Braden Surprenant Show shirts.
There you go.
I saw DSG was in town though. Did he leave? Did they go to San Francisco?
I do not know. We are doing well. We can practice already. We got the Kraft Taco jersey swap tomorrow too.
We do. All right, so we got to send DSG some shirts, and he'll send us some shirts because he already went back to San Francisco. When are you moving back to San Diego, man? You can't be the big Padres guy and just be living in San Francisco. Let's go. Let's get the job transfer down here. Get back into the America's finest city. I'd like to see DSG live at the Sportsplex. See what a softball game's like. Yeah, got to, man. Anyway,
got to convince the fiance was the chat.
That's part of the deal. That's part of the deal. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Enjoy the Home Run Derby tonight. We'll join you guys again tomorrow. Recapping the Home Run Derby, previewing the All-Star game. Braden Surprenant Show. See you guys.